honestly, if anything, I'm hoping I get as distracted as possible so I can do as little as possible. I am in a, I don't explicitly know where it came from, but I'm in a, what feels like a quick view mindset. And on live streams, we tend to build something, at least keep my hands busy. I came out here this morning, first thing in the morning, to try to figure out, like, purpose. I just ended up puttering around. I fixed a vacuum, and I put up another shelf to put Funkos on because I got another one of those machining Kriegers. So I moved some stuff around. I didn't do anything that I set out to do, which is pretty much par for the course. They're having a discussion over there in a language I don't recognize. Doesn't look like words to me. So I've had the blind guy obtained the bits and pieces to do a build for a buddy of his. Oh, geez. It's... there has been a box full of stuff that has kind of moved around as changes have been made. There's been a box that's been moving around. He had to have bought this stuff last year. Like, I'm thinking it's a 2024. I don't know. Maybe something's got a shipping label on it. When did this ship? Doesn't say. Dimensional weight. October 29th. Good grief. We're coming up on a year. Yeah, we're coming up on a year. So I guess that gives me a soft goal. Finish this before October 29th. That's, I don't know if you can shoot for a goal softer than that one. Did I throw away my cut brush? I threw away my cut brush. Yeah, Guy 307, 80 degrees in Northern Nevada. It's about 82 degrees here today. Now, it's 82 degrees outside. That doesn't mean anything relative to in here, because I was gone almost all day Wednesday, and I was gone all day Thursday. I was in the shop for like 20 minutes Thursday morning. So when I got out here this morning, it was 10 degrees hotter in the shop than it was outside. Let's see, it looks like the FMS FJ is being discontinued in the UK. I got one of the last yellow ones. Yeah, we can definitely go on a short ramble about how FMS has not been making what I would classify as great decisions. You know, the FCX10, if you look at all the variants of the FCX10, the best one was the first one, and they have not gotten any better since they made that one. They keep doing the thing. I call it now the Scion thing, which is ignore marketing, like ignore what's actually happening in the market, like ignore the sales and go by what you think you should be doing, and eventually you'll just put yourself out of the market. Because they discontinued the MASH again and brought it back. We know that there was the legal aspect to that. They keep doubling down and then tripling down on the FCX10 LC80. And I don't know anybody that is really hungering for an FMS LC80. For a while, FMS did, what did they call them? Like ready to bind. Basically, they sold like ARTRs, which was the whole thing. So it's the body and the tires and everything, but no electronics. So rollers, kind of like what Arma does. Then they stopped doing that, and the price on every product line just keeps creeping up and up and up. So it's not surprising that they would discontinue another one of that chassis line. I was worried they were going to discontinue that chassis line in its entirety when they went for the FCX10. I done did a thing. I bought cheap C-rails and have a rolling chassis with steering on chassis and making a Class 1. Class 1.5 is better, but I mean, I do approve. Confirm Rust-Oleum vinyl and Walmart Glidden Master finish all surface work, as well as the Home Depot Glidden Max Flex. Yeah, not surprising, honestly, that the Walmart Glidden Master Flex is the same stuff, just in a different can. 100 degrees Fahrenheit in Croatia. Yeah, you got the heat that we would usually have. The LCX80 Pro was better than the FCX Blazer just for having a separate receiver. The time when the Pro came out, the Pro was $460 and the Blazer was $349. It should have come with a non-2-in-1 from the beginning. And now that it's $399.99, I don't know if I would recommend it much at all. I believe the Camel Trophy 1/10 FCX10 models are due out soon. Yeah, I have no place here, there, or anywhere for an FCX10 really. I found that the FCX10 K5, the first one, the launch version, was very much in the same vein as the original UTB-18, where it was RTR. You could take it out of its foam tomb and take it out and drive it around and just have a good time. Like, all you needed was batteries, and that was great. Like, it had you could disable the drag brake from the radio and do all the neat little things. Was it an outstanding rock crawler? No, but it had headlights and taillights and blinkers and some scale look, but not like going all the way full heavy into like a hard body and all of those things. I found the FCX10 to be accessible, and when they were $349.99, I would recommend them. I would say, do you acknowledge that you are casual and that you are not going to you're not going to end up standing in a building with like 80 RC cars in it? Because if your answer is, I have no desire to own 80 RC cars, then the FCX10 is great. You can take it out and drive it on trails. You can take it out and do a little bit of rock crawling with it with basically a tire change. You don't really need to make any other wholesale changes. And it was set up. It was nice. It was nice. And then I guess FMS is making their own best efforts to try to catch their own crawler's paradox. And they just keep making it worse. Like, an outrunner in a trail vehicle is definitely a choice. I don't think it's a choice that I would make, but they definitely made a choice. And then, whether it be tariff times or other factors, the price just keeps going higher and higher and higher and higher and higher. And the Pro at $459, I'm sorry, you are in the heart of TRX4 territory. And it's not like the TRX4 makes a lesser trail rig. If anything, I would say it is probably a superior option because it is more robustly built. The locker mechanisms are going to be more ready for the long haul, let's say. Okay. So, I don't know what place to hold the FCX10 now. Chuck with the 5. I almost bought the LC80 thinking it was the K5 with the updated body. Pre-order was $299. I thought, sign me up. Thank God I looked into it more. Sanctus, you dodged the bullet, because, yeah, what they ended up doing is shrinkflating it, and now they have the new LC80 Pro coming out, which is shrinkflated even further. And they're spinning it too. The ad verbiage is 100% a spin, because they're like, oh, now it's simpler. It It doesn't have things to get in your way like a pesky 2-speed or anything. Oh, Steven Turner with a 10. We're starting off with 15, out of the box with 15. The question is, those of you who are here today, thank you so much for being here. I love to see Erwin on here because we know he's on vacation. We know he's not at home. That's awesome. We're almost certain that the Spaniard is at home. We'll see if the Spaniard shows up today. It'll definitely be interesting. So thank you, Charles. Thank you, Stephen. You are keeping the Sawtooth Bee song. You are keeping the lights on. I got my UTB 18 free YouTube giveaway and have fun with it. Yeah, I can remember back to testing it and being like, you know what? It does it. It is indeed RTR. And the UTB 18 is nice because you can lose your mind and go all in and throw money at it, or just run it as is. And there are not a lot, honestly. There are startlingly few RTRs out there. I definitely did not over-grease this. So I have the aforementioned box, blind guy box. I'm gonna throw parts at it, and we'll see. I mean, I'm not in a hurry, so we'll see how we get. We'll see how we get. Ladies are showering. Quick drop by. Old Revolt is using his time correctly. His vacation is starting to sound like too much of a vacation from what I've seen of it. There is such a thing. RC Zilla with the 10. Yeah. Oh, yes. Do you like analytics? I'll give you some analytics. So today's the 15th. I want to say the 11th. On the 11th, 100 gift subscriptions rolled off in one day. The tooth of the saw was almost just straight down. It didn't even, because they're one-day windows, it always goes down or up at an angle. But it basically would have just gone straight down. 100 in a day. That is 20% of all channel members rolled off in one day. And, I mean, I guess it's time of year, something. But 21 of them were not gifted memberships. Were like normal members. So that is about 10% of all normal members. So 20% of all members total and 10% of recurring members just all disappeared in one day. I don't know. Time of year could be a lot of things. Mr. C, the poverty is now going to be the brazen front line in the FF instead of the FF. Any thoughts on the front line versus the FF? I think largely interchangeable. I've built both. I think the FF goes together a little easier. Geometry-wise, it's probably kind of a wash once you get into your setup. I have an idea of how you're coming up on the front line, because if my memory of the Discord is correct, there's a guy that swapped from the front line to the FF. So that would I'm assuming that's how you got there. Yeah, I mean it's skid forward VFD. They're similar. Front line's going to be a little heavier, I think. I would like to say, if memory serves. Louis Krause is setting up his first Panhard setup. He's in for making some links over and over and over again. I think he's still at his grandparents getting eaten alive by mozzies. Good old mosquitoes. was an AR-45P on the 10-3 chassis with Rock Pirate shocks towers. Enjoy the AR-45P, which still has the bad panhard placement. The AR-45 straight has a more correct panhard placement. But you can, wow, that is really, you can work your way around it. Everything is fairly straightforward. Although, I mean, I did completely relocate the panhard mount on that. Vegas Steve is on that 10%. Yeah. My Google Bucks from doing surveys has been slowly shrinking. Hopefully they start sending me more surveys to keep the membership going. Oh, I did not know that you were using Google to subsidize Google. Google's just, the money's just flowing in a circle. Economy is tough and has been for a while. Yeah, tell me. Tell me. Yeah, Jord is still green. You have a package of junk view-worthy tires heading your way. Oh, man, poor baseline. I'm about to move house, and my wife asked me if my membership here was necessary. I just walked away from the condo. How could she even consider me stopping? Well, thank you. I do appreciate it. How was the beach? Super peoply? Okay, so here's what happened. The wife, I'm sitting minding my own business. It's about 10 a.m. on Wednesday. Sitting there minding my own business, and the wife says, how do you feel about going to a play? And, you know, as a spouse of some years, in your head, you hear, dun, dun, dun. And I go, where, when, how much? And she goes, Pantages, which is Hollywood, right where all the Walk of Stars are. Literally, Hollywood and Vine is where the Pantages is. And if you've seen a movie talking about Hollywood, you know Hollywood and Vine. So she says she's getting free tickets from somebody at work. Some Like It Hot, the traveling whatever, and the tickets are free. So I'm like, let's do this. My wife's car is a hybrid. It's going to take us 5 gallons of gas round trip. So this one isn't going to be too bad. She comes home from work a little bit early. We get everything ready in the car. We have to go to Hollywood, aka Los Angeles, for a show that starts at 7:30 p.m. That is, under best circumstances, that's a 2-hour drive. That's a 2-hour drive to get there. It's about 75 miles. Because the traffic's going to be murderous. It was about 2 hours and 20 minutes to get there. We actually got there at about 7, so we got there about 30 minutes early. Watched the show. I have not been to a play of any kind that was not like populated by children or my own children in many, many moons. So I was not aware of the fact that play ended at 10:15 p.m. At which point we made our way back to the car. We had to stop and get something to eat. We ate Del Taco at 11:15 at night. I am too old to eat Del Taco at 11:15 at night. We got home at about 10 minutes after 12. I had been sitting either in a car on the way there, in a car on the way home, at the theater. I'd basically been sitting for like 7.5 hours. You know how I am about sitting. People have asked, how do you do a whole live stream 3.5 hours without sitting down? Easily. I stand up all day. So I was wrecked. It's now Thursday. I thought we were going to get to go to the beach. My youngest, who was to accompany us, went to the beach with their associates earlier in the week and got a proper sunburn. Like they are red. like real red. Like their legs are all swollen and tight from the fluid coming to the surface. Like they got a messed up sunburn. Like it's like blistering on their shoulders. So they basically can't go outside. So instead, if you can't go to the beach and sit in the sand, then you're going to get one of these right here, which is we went to Orange County. We never got anywhere near the ocean, but we left yesterday morning at about 11 o'clock. We got home at 8:45 p.m. We went to South Coast Plaza. We went to what is formerly known as the Block, the outlets at Orange. And I got to follow around as my wife and my youngest shopped all day. And my takeaway from it was I got that machine in Krieger right over there, which is actually a pretty great one. Because I think that's how most people would prefer their Labubus. So I was pretty chuffed to get that one. But that was my sum total takeaway. I spent some time in the Saks off 5th. I spent some time in places ladies go to shop for lady clothing less than 24 hours after going to Some Like It Hot in the Pantages. So my wife wanted to go and do some things, and who am I to say no? I am there to drive and obtain things, and we didn't, because the show was at 7:30 and we had not planned it at all. We left the house at about 4:30. Stopped and got gas, did the usual things, got there, got to the thing, saw the show. So we didn't eat. I ate lunch at 11 a.m. and then I ate Del Taco at 11 p.m. and somehow wasn't, yes, indeed, Team Revolt has got it absolutely spotted. The man from Belgium, now standing somewhere in, if I read it correctly, Croatia, knows exactly right. Happy wife, happy life. Yeah. And what you do is you do not complain. You absolutely tank it. You just tank it. Because that's how it is. Because where am I right now? It's Friday afternoon, everybody, and I'm standing here in my workshop, which is allowed to be filled with all manner of shenanigans. Are there shenanigans down there? It is so clean in here. It's so clean in here. I am left with a degree of autonomy that most people would be envious of. And she's in the videos, man. She suggested some of these things. Like Crawler Canyon Driver's Ed was her idea. So I do not complain. And you know what? Okay, let me put it to you this way. Some Like It Hot, not to be confused with the 1959 movie, Tony Curtis, Jack Lemmon, Marilyn Monroe. It's definitely been updated, and I'm fine with it. I'm absolutely fine with it. We were in, if you want to look it up, you can go look up a seating chart of the Pantages Theater. We were in row WW, and you know that if there's 2 letters in your row, you're pretty far away. But it's not it's not a massive establishment. It wasn't like we were in the Coliseum. So I could almost see what the actors looked like, almost. And for the most part, I could almost hear what they were saying. When it got into like an ensemble level of thing, baby, the half-deaf, tinnitus-filled man right over here, it was just, okay, here's what it sounded like. That's what I hear. That's what I hear. If I get into a situation, and I assume that some of the machinists and people who PPE, what's PPE? I assume that there are some of you out there with me that, I can pick up on little noises. When I'm standing here at the bench, I can hear the fan inside the 3D printer running. I can tell when the 3D printer has stopped because I can hear the bed go brrr and go down from over there. I can hear it just fine. I can hear little noises If the compressor is leaking out of one of the fittings, I can hear it. So I still have that acuity, but if you put me in an environment where the noise floor is really high, you get that murmur note of a lot of people all talking at the same time, I might as well be deaf. It just sounds like white noise. Like it just blows all the sound out. I can't hear anything. So you didn't rent the opera glasses? They have opera glasses? I would have. If I had known specifically where I went in blind, man. I went in blind. If I had known where Row WW was, I would have just taken binoculars with me, honestly. Because I have no idea what anyone in the cast actually looks like outside of what color they were. Or what color they were wearing. That's about all I got out of it. But a musical, if you've ever gone through a musical, it just goes, man. Pow, 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 pow. And then you're through it, and then the next thing you know, you're walking out, and they keep it as cold as a meat locker in there. And I'm not joking about that. It was probably in the low 60s. First stage of hearing loss. I'm probably past the first stage of hearing loss. The tinnitus is pretty substantial. I found this wheel, right? This is like a turn, like you can see where I have the drill for the thing. I don't know where I got it. It's been in the building. And I was getting out of a drawer, and I accidentally hit it, right? And I hit it against a handle, and it went. That note right there, that's a little lower. Right there. That's almost the exact same note as my tinnitus. That's the high pitch. That's the pitch that I hear in my head all the time. And when I first struck it, it kind of canceled my tinnitus out for a few minutes. It was kind of crazy. So I keep it around. It's like a good luck charm. Maybe one day they'll figure out how to make my ears stop ringing. Wouldn't that be a day? Maybe this is a controversial topic, but what do you guys think of male cheerleaders for Vikings? Seems a little off to me. Here's my take on cheerleaders, okay? I don't understand them on any level, okay? My wife watched the documentary about the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. Pardon me French, but holy shit. If you're a man, be incredibly thankful that you are. Because those women, like that is horrible. I know that women get the short shrift in many things, but good God, those cheerleaders, they treat them like they're disposable. It's terrible. It feels like sweatshop conditions. Anyway, the only cheerleading I find remotely interesting is that one that they do like competitively with the Flyers, where there's big burly dudes standing on the ground and they hurl tiny 4'10" tall girls 25 feet into the air, and they do barrel rolls and twists and stuff. I find that actively engaging because there's that overwhelming element of danger. You're like, what happens if they don't catch her? Does she just fold up like an old lawn chair? Like, what happens? But like cheerleaders at sporting events, I don't get it. I'm more a fan of approaches like the mysterious fish. There's a Japanese baseball team. The mascot is called the mysterious fish, and it's a man in a fish suit that sometimes he takes the fish suit off, and then he's a man in a skeleton costume, so he's the skeleton of the mysterious fish. And sometimes he goes around and he eats the cheerleaders, and he carries them around in his mouth. So that's the height of my engagement with cheerleaders. Also in high school, and here's where maybe it's deep set trauma about cheerleaders. Where I went to high school, our high school was small, and our cheerleaders were them. They were those plastics. They were those. If you've ever seen Mean Girls, the Mean Girls from Mean Girls, that was the cheerleaders at my school. Mean Girls. They were better than everybody. they're probably all fat now. But, you know, you're either one of the cool kids, or you're looking at the cool kids from a distance. And I didn't even want to associate with the cool kids. And I know that's what the non-cool kids in school would say. But I really didn't, because I didn't have anything in common with those people then. I certainly don't have anything in common with those people now. I got asked a number of times, how many... Okay, here's one for you. I know we're sort of in the same... there's a lot of us in the same age bracket. So it's been a couple of years now, but when we came up on 25th anniversary of our 20, like the reunion for 25, the 25th year reunion of our graduating class, a bunch of, you get an influx of Facebook friend requests of people that you literally have not said a single word to in 25 years. And these people would contact you and they'd be like, hey man, what's up? And I'm like, I'm sitting here thinking to myself, I don't want to be obnoxious, but at the same time, what the hell do I have to say to these people? I didn't have anything to say to them in high school. And at that time, we actually shared something in common, which was a geographic coincidence. They lived in a similar region, so they went to a similar school that I did, and thus ended our similarities together. Fast forward 25 years forward into the future, I don't have anything in common with these people. And now we're now 35 years into the future. And I guarantee you I have less in common with those people today than I did a decade ago. So I'm not, I have no FOMO. I'd rather go to a drag show in drag than to go to my high school reunion. The fun, okay, the unfunny, this is not a funny part. There are people that I went to high school with that I didn't really know them, like we were acquaintances. We knew each other at a distance, that sort of thing. We weren't mortal enemies. We weren't associates. That live and work in the same area that I do. And I have never seen those people in 35 years. Not one time. Our circles are so non-intersecting that nothing gravitated us towards each other 35 years ago, and nothing has gravitated us towards each other since. I definitely mentioned this before, where I was trying to instill that into my oldest, because he got kind of he was definitely more sociable and more affable than I was in high school. I've said routinely, the only person I talked to from high school is the one I married. And sometimes I think that she's not that hot on talking to me. But I told him, the only thing that you people shared in common is that the government said that for a span of 4 years, you all have to go to this same building together. And then after that time expires, there's a real strong chance that none of you all are ever going to see each other again. RC Zilla with, is that another 5 or is it another 5? Another 5! Another 5! Put it in the books! So I said, if you want to develop friendships or acquaintances, however you like, whatever terminology you choose, if you want to develop bonds that never go away, trauma's a great one. Go into the military, get a deployment or 2 under your belt. You'll know some of those guys for the rest of your life. It's a rough way to go about it, but trauma bonding is absolutely effective. I went to my 10-year reunion. 20-year came and went, and I didn't go. I'm done. No desire. Yeah, at 10 years, you're still in that mindset where you're like, oh, man, it wasn't that long ago. So you're like, I'll give it I'll see what old so-and-so is going. Okay, I got to say, I've never seen that before. Toodle77 said, hey, fellas, which means he probably just showed up. And then MKRC dropped a single one and absolutely headshotted Toodle77. and gave him a gift membership, just like that. Almost like it was targeted. I don't know if I've ever seen that before. Chuck with another 5. It must be the mechanic work is carrying on for Mr. Hurley, who works too hard. Arcizilla says the gray names annoy me. Trying to impress upon my kids has been the greatest undertaking of my life. These people you're worried about liking you won't even be able to remember their names as an adult. 100%. And then the one that I am trying to instill in my youngest, because my youngest has within them, and I'm not entirely sure where it comes from, but they have within them that little bit of the people pleaser mentality where they like want people to like them and they want people, and I go, so they make it even bigger, which is it turns into fear. Like they don't want to embarrass themselves, they don't want to do this, they don't want to put themselves out, they don't want to do any of these things. And it still amazes me that they manage to do the anime stuff and do the cosplays and stuff, and yet they don't allow that to overtake the rest of their life and just roll with it. They don't know how to roll with it. The kid doesn't know how to roll with it. And I will say, I get it. I didn't know how to roll with it early. I worried about what people thought. You know, even fast forward to later in life when I began this, I worried about what people thought. And then if you do something long enough, you kind of don't worry as much about what people think. And the one that I keep trying to tell the kid is 99.999% of people you meet, you will never see again, ever. Now, you can either allow that to wash over you with this wave of insignificance where you feel that I'm just a tiny thing, just meandering through the universe. And it's true, but we don't have to acknowledge it. We don't have to go full nihilist. But I'm like, the only way people are going to remember you is if you give them a reason to remember you, positively or negatively. If you're doing something like, okay, perfect example. For those who saw the live stream that I did from Anime Expo, okay, I remember 2 human beings basically from the entirety of that. I remember the guy who, due to the size of his cosplay, the guy that couldn't get off the ground, so it looked like he was breakdancing. I don't remember what he looks like. I don't remember any of that. I remember that event. So it's not even really about remembering the people. And then the second one was that full outfit furry that had her head off, and her head looked like a mop because she was sweating like a government mule. Like sweating like she's going to end up in an ambulance if somebody doesn't give her some liquid IV and tell her to sit down for a little while. I don't remember what she looked like. I don't even explicitly remember what the cosplay was. Some kind of a cat or a tiger, maybe. That's it. That's basically all I remember of Anime Expo, and I was there for 2 full days. I spent like 24 hours there. Those are the 2 moments that I remember from the whole thing. So above and beyond the 99.9% of people that will never remember, I don't even remember events. They come and they go. Yeah, Toodles, you're not alone. There are folk who have definitely never voluntarily paid for one themselves and have been channel members for like 10 plus months. So they've been gifted channel memberships 10 plus times. Now that part, don't worry about being judged, you'll never see these people again, is something I have tried to impress on my wife forever. Yeah. What's with the chat showing the @ symbol in front of our names? I don't know. It's doing it to everybody. I guess they've decided to go with nicknames separate from channel names. I am new here and I have no idea what you're talking about. I am old here and I have no idea what I'm talking about. Oh yeah, the TV head and the box guy. See, I had forgotten the box guy. So Rudy had something different stick in his head. It was the guy made of boxes, and then the guy that had a TV for a head. Yeah. You should hear the stories I've heard from EMTs having to work a weekend with a furry convention nearby. Ooh. You don't remember the woman with the butt that you followed for a minute? Not at all. Not at all. Hey, everyone. How y'all doing? I think we're doing great. It sounds like you're talking about highway hypnosis. Oh, my God. Ask me anything about over the past 2 days, I have spent, like, call it, round it up and call it 8 hours driving a car. I remember almost none of it. Like, we do not commit that stuff to memory. It's gone. I might be able to retrace the paths that I took, maybe, but I remember so little. I thought this thing had tires with it. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. I got a radio and I got axles. And I got wheels and I got a servo. I got body mounts. I got shocks. I got links. All the French dudes. Oh, yeah. All the French dudes. Yeah, the Claire something, Claire Obscure. The game that I've never played, but now I know. Mine is my actual name, not Miata Commuter. Yeah, I don't know how it's... yeah, the @ thing is new, right? We weren't doing this last time. Erwin, how long are they showering for? Yeah, we really only remember the stuff that stands out for whatever reason. And I feel like as time goes on, as these years march inexorably forward, the stuff that stands out is fewer and fewer. Like, the stuff that actually stands out becomes less and less. That's perfectly filled, that. Yeah, if your shark's got a bladder in it, that's exactly what it should look like. It should look like froth. Mr. C, did you get your paints? I did. It yesterday or day before yesterday, it was one of those, gesturing. It was one of those days. Yes, I'm going to use one of those shades of blue. I've got to paint Eddie at some point. And I think I'm going to go similarly done thematically to how he was before, but I think I'm going to go different colors. So what do you think of the Element Ecto? I was given a chassis and a bunch of stuff to start build it. Ecto's fine. In terms of rock crawling, trailing arms will hold you back at some point. It's in their name indirectly, like it's not supposed to, like trail is not, it's trailing because they're literally trailing. But you will find that they will limit performance in the extreme. But if you're building something that's kind of universal, I have a Zool here, which is literally just an Ecto with a slightly different body on it. And I drive it pretty much stock. I put a Fusion in it, just drive it like that. Not geared towards hardcore rock crawling. But the only real difference between an Ecto and any of the other Enduros is just putting 4-link on the rear, which is not that difficult either. Oh, I almost missed Mo Trapper 4273 with 5 gifted. We have like a decent number today. We men and women of the canyon need to figure out a way to trauma bond. Well, we're mostly Generation X. So, you never said what RCs did you take at the beach? Oh, we didn't even get near sand. But what I did do at a Saks off 5th Avenue is I put on a giant, like, suede coat. And it was huge. And I am not small. So in my head the whole time was just running through the notion of what woman would come in here and fit in this. Like, it came down to like mid-calf on me. So it would be dragging the ground, well, high heels. So a woman would have to be like 5'11" to wear heels to wear that coat. I don't know. The sleeves still came to here because women have those little T-Rex arms. But it fit me. It was like an extra, extra large, which, is why it ends up in an off fifth, which is the, like, clearance section. How many of us have had to reintroduce ourselves because our ats are different? A lot of the same, but some I just go, I don't know who these are. We trauma bond over bad tires. Boy, do we ever. Like, I don't know who Mo Trapper 4723 is, or 4273. Mr. Scurry's the same. Team Revolt's the same. RC Family. Stephen Turner. Jeff the Temple. There's a lot of them that are the same. Charles Hurley was raised Gen Z. So they gave you an iPad and just told you to sit in the corner? Former cheerleader would buy that coat. Yeah. Oh. Erwin is off. They finally got out of the shower. How do I fight my front right wheel from raising? Well, some of it is geometry. Most of it is geometry, really. The number one assistant there is going to be increasing the spacing between your lower link and your upper link in the rear, because that's going to introduce anti-squat and it's going to help keep the front end down. A lot of people think it's torque twist, and in some rare instances it is, but more often than not it is not. In my experience, experiencing actual torque twist is reasonably rare, where it's that, like, it doesn't just, like, if the wheel is lifting, that tends to be a geometry issue. If you get to a point where the wheel lifts, and then if you apply any more throttle, it doesn't go back, it goes this way. If you actually roll out instead of transferring over, if you roll out, that is indeed torque twist. And torque twist, 99 times out of 100 is mechanical. It's not actually in the geometry of your drive line. It is that there's a hex that when you tighten the wheel down, the hex is bottomed out against the hub. And that's making it tight. And it's not necessarily on the one that's lifting. It's not necessarily on the one in the rear. It can be any one of them, because there is a rotational component to the vehicle that is being transversed. Because typically the drive line is longitudinal, but then you're transmitting power latitudinally. They go the opposite direction. So having to change that direction is going to add resistance no matter what. So that's why you'll notice on vehicles that are very softly sprung, if you're driving straight forward on just flat ground, nothing else, you'll notice like the body will have a soft lean to it. That's because the whole drivetrain is spinning, and it's going to impart some of that twist to it. But that's not torque twist. That's just the natural action of the drivetrain. Look at a guy with a big, powerful, heavy, like big V8 power thing, and he goes roar, roar. That's also, it's torque twist, but it's not torque twist in a suspension component. It's that there's a bunch of whirling metal, there's a bunch of weight, and it's rotating this way. So the stuff sitting on top of the springs goes like that. Torque twist can actually impact things that aren't just sprung. It can impact everything and make it twist. I've experienced actual torque twist that was not mechanically based and not based on just soft suspension maybe twice. And it's not fun to try to run it down. often I go the easy. Yeah, masses move masses. I've gone the easiest possible route, which is change something. Change something. Like if you have a Stealth X is a great example. This is built for motor plate forward. Put the other shaft in it and build it so it's motor plate backward. So now that's going to reverse the rotation of the entire drivetrain. Everything is literally going to spin 180 degrees reversed. And see if it does it. Does it lean that way now? Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it does. So the problem at the core of it, why torque reaction, there you go. Why we don't tend to see it in other things, and we see it more in rock crawlers, is typically on a rock crawler, I will be running half the weight of the total weight of the vehicle in terms of springing. Like this guy's closest. So this guy is about 5.5 pounds, 5.3 something. He's running 0.8 pound springs all the way around. So that is 3.2 pounds of springing for a vehicle that weighs 5.3 pounds. And his shocks are laid down at angles that I'm not 100% sure of. That's probably what, 35 degrees or so, maybe 25 degrees or so. So that's going to lessen the effective rate. So that's going to lower it even more. It's probably going to lower it around to the point where we're sitting at about half. We've got half the weight of the vehicle in spring, right? So let's say that with those angles, our effective spring rate is like 2.7 pounds total on a vehicle that weighs 5.3, because the springs don't see all this stuff down here. They don't see the unsprung weight. But when you apply throttle, it's much easier for this stuff. It's much easier for the sprung stuff to move. So torque twist, I won't say it gets a bad name. I had to cut tiny foil shims to go into the pins and raise the hex off the knuckles. I was getting torque twist and then some. Yeah, the Traxxas little 5mm Teflon washers are on so many things around here. We go through them by the bag. Miata Commuter, I can keep the name straight. Miata Commuter with a 5. We're picking back up some of the 100. Watch for rear spring, too much collapse on a climb, too soft affects it. That is true. That is true. I find that more often than not, 0.8 is about where it is. And you'll notice geometry is going to come in a lot when determining that spring rate, because I'm basically using spring rate to set my static height. And then I do look and see, is it too stiff or too soft in the rear? And if you're getting over compression in the rear and you don't want to add spring rate, you don't want to go stiffer on the spring, we can cheat, because we don't fly through the air and we don't take it off of jumps. So you can just go heavier oil in the shock, and it will act the same way. It'll really slow the rear end down. And then you also have to take into account that the primary element of the suspension is what is inside the tire. So this is the first point of the suspension. This is basically the second element of the suspension, is the links. And then we get to the third element of the suspension, which is the actual springs themselves, which is another part of why we can get away with running so light of springing on vehicles that are relative to the springs heavy. How do you feel about full droop shocks? I don't. I think that unless you're doing nothing but climbing, I think if you give up that amount of compliance, if you give up travel, you are compromising traction. right? Because if you're running full droop, if you're running true full droop, when you go like this, it won't do that. That's because this side, and now we're at full up travel. It would be sit all the way down like this, and then when you lift one corner, it's just gonna, you're turning it into a skateboard. I think running full droop is more, half droop is kind of fine. Full droop is basically, I put it in the same category as people who don't run springs. The springs are there for a reason, because they are pushing back down. They are resisting this motion. As I lift that, that spring is pushing back against me. And I think that it's not entirely that difficult to engineer a suspension that is at least functional. Getting to something optimized can take time and effort, but getting to this, you saw me just throw the stuff at it, and it did pretty okay. I'm thinking about mounting up a set of Class 2s on him, drop him down on some 475s, see how he does on this. He's a little whippy, snappy. We wouldn't be talking that much shorter in terms of tire, like if we went with like an MTZ, but that is appreciably lower. Every millimeter is a millimeter lower on the CG. And I didn't notice that. I don't feel like I was banging him into stuff too much. So we've got options. I don't know what insert I would run in the MTZs. I loved the Baja MTZs, and it pained me to give them away on the middle school desk. But if you give something away and you don't feel anything about it, then you didn't really give it away. You just threw it away into someone else's hands. Are TRX4 portal axles bad for leaf springs? I can't see a lot of people leaf them. It's always straight axles, it seems. I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen leaf portal either. But I don't see why you couldn't. There's nothing explicitly saying that you can't. Element springs will fit Traxxas GTS shocks? Yes. Who's nearby? You do have to do a little bit of trickery. No. Who's on okay. So a Traxxas GTS shock will fit the cup from an Element shock. But you can also I just take a lathe and I turn a little land on the, I have to find somebody. I've done it like 8 times. Oh. There we go. Jeez. I know, I mean, I know I've done it. So these are just the cups from Element shocks. They just thread right on. And then so basically, if you have a set of GTS, you can just buy that Element pack, the hardware for the SE shocks, and then you can throw the 10 millimeter springs on them. And I think they look great because these shocks are so skinny that the spring is basically, they're the same diameter up and down. But yeah. Now I don't go through and buy the whole hardware pack. I just take the existing cup, I put it on the lathe, and I just take the tool and I just make a little land for the spring to sit on. But it's definitely easier to just do it with the Element hardware, which is what I would recommend to most people. Has anyone tried to 3D print shock pistons? I feel like they wouldn't hold up. I feel like they wouldn't be smooth enough around the outside edge. You can buy Delrin rod that is like the exact diameter of a shock piston, whether 7mm, 10mm. And if you have access to a lathe, you can make shock pistons pretty easily. But 3D print, I don't know. I don't know if that's a 3D print thing. You were right. I changed out the 90 for 85 on my Phoenix and it made such a difference. Yeah, I don't know what it is. That 5mm is just a Portal Phoenix and 85mm shocks is the magic zone. Desert Lizard shocks, both springs installed, just set up as full droop. If you have both springs installed, you're not full droop. If you have one below the piston, like if you're running them upside down and you have one below the piston, then you're half droop. Portals on Leafs really like to twist up the springs. It's kind of like having really tall lift blocks. Oh, there you go. I feel the leaf wrap with portal axles would be immense. Yeah, I can see that, the torque. So are the Element green striped springs lighter than the Traxxas yellow stripe? Yes. I want to say Traxxas yellows are point... It's on the other side of the wall. I'm just going to yell from this side. Traxxas yellows. Traxxas yellows. Traxxas GTS yellow are 1.2. Element greens are 0.71. That's on the regular diameter. Element green SEs are 0.8. I know this is also on the internet, but I have it written down on an old whiteboard. Yeah, the softest spring you can get in a fairly conventional 13 by 70, 13 by 65 in that area are the Element greens at 0.71 pounds. If you get into 10 millimeter springs, the softest you can get are Deluxe Ultra Softs white band, which are 0.4 pound per inch. Yes, Element SE shock hardware pack, that is correct. Colonel Mustard's still around? Yes, he is. He's right over here. Does he have GTS on him? You better not. He's right here. No, he's on G-Made RSDs. That's what he's on. Yeah, he's still going. Sitting up super high. We don't see a ton of the Colonel because he's fitted with my least favorite axle in the world. Well, not in the world. He's fitted with an axle I don't particularly care for. I think he would be better suited either on a different portal axle or on a straight axle. Were the tires... Oh, wait. Yeah. Were the tires you just showed the unobtainable Panthers? Yes. These are Panther Cougars. With the... Look how slow that comes up. With the milk bread. With the milk bread foams. They are truly something else. Oh, MKRC's off to pick up dinner. I just ate jambalaya. It's pretty good. 3D printed pistons work absolutely fine, running most of my shocks on them. There you go. I still, for all the things that 3D printing is good for, it is just not something that I would trust it for. I don't know. I mean, I could be proved wrong probably pretty easily, but I can't see how it would print the edge smooth enough to replicate how tight a properly machined piston fits to a shock bore. Yes, Colonel Mustard began as the 10.3 JLU kit. Yeah, one of the first kits that we ever bought. Yes, we got a commuter off for a doctor's appointment on a Friday. My favorite thing about Colonel Mustard, holds and hunks. He's one of the few guys still running the split combo. Oh, he's got a dig box. When somebody asked how many dig boxes I have, I wonder if I included Colonel Mustard. I don't think I did. So add another one. So I'm up to like 9 dig boxes. Yeah, this was a whole thing. This Endura chassis does not want to be chassis mounted steering at all. Like it resisted it tremendously. Did you like your Lone Ranger? Yeah. I think it needs some tuning, but I think it went from taking it out of parts boxes and putting it on the rocks pretty successfully for how quickly it got out there. I don't, as much as I want the razor wires on there, I don't know if they're the jam on the straight axles. The razor wire is going to be a tough one to find the perfect fitment for. Because the tire is great, but there was a little quirkiness to his behavior that makes me want to try a shorter tire. I had an ENT appointment this morning. Lady shoved a camera through my nose and down my throat. No, thank you. I want to keep one of my TRX4s brushed, but drag brake is lacking. Hobby Wing 1080 or upgrade the motor first? I would say Hobby Wing 1080. 1080 G2 is going to be better all around because the XL5HV has a 1 amp BEC on it. Your steering is going to get significantly better when you put a 1080 in it. And the Titan is not terrible. It's genuinely not that bad. Paired to a 1080, it will be better. Of all of the electronic components on a TRX4, the XL5HV is the weakest one. It is definitely a relic of a bygone era, and which is terrible because it's still better than a 1060. Are you going to try any of the new Endura chassis? No. It didn't hurt. The worst part was her shooting liquid lidocaine all through my nose to numb it. Ooh. I want to build based off of Mia's portals. Will AR-44s work as a template? Mostly, yeah. I want to say that the link mount points are pretty close. Oh, I mean, I guess I could. That's an element. That's do I have an AR-44 front? Do I have an AR-44 front? There's another AR-44 rear. I got an OG and a one-piece. Yep. 2 AR-44 rears. Oh, wait. There we go. And all right. Let's see what we're working with. Yeah. Yeah, you'll be good to go. Those link mounts are in the exact same spot. They're basically the same shape. Like I say, it's a little bit of a hybrid. This is the Vanquish spacing on the double shear. Yeah, so in terms of laying out your links, you'll be absolutely set. You are cleared for takeoff. AR-44. It's like an F10 and an AR-44 had a baby, is what these are. You're good to go. I was curious myself. Now, back in the axle drawer with you. Is the goat still alive, or did it pretty well die? Okay. Little spoiler, there's a video up at 4 p.m. today. Quick view, rear view of the Novak Goat 3S. There was an incident, if that will drive you towards watching it. There is an incident that takes place in that. I don't know if it survived. There's questions as to whether it survived. Would you want to try one of Jen Hobby's Class 1 chassis when he has those available? Sure. Did the blind guy enjoy his polka dotted nurdle? Yeah, he really did. He likes the color of it, even with his color blindness. Speaking of hybrid axles, did you see those DJM RC printed axles? I did. It falls back to my unwillingness to accept. I feel like, here's what I feel like. I feel like people are 3D printing things just because they can. 3D printing is almost never the best possible option. But people are really embracing the hell out of it. Because, in the grand scheme of things, it is unquestionably one of the most inexpensive options. I don't know to what degree I would actively trust 3D printed axle housings, seeing as I've broken more than my fair share. In my estimation, I've broken more than my fair share of axle housings. I was amazed when the tank term? Spark. I was amazed when the Spark axles were here that I didn't break those. I thought for sure I was going to. Because the gentleman who did buy them, the owner of them, broke them more than once and is apparently breaking them fairly regularly. And I believe the last update that I saw, he had removed them from the vehicle and just gone back to conventional element axles. I mean, they were a party trick. They were a novelty. And I think they were more of a proof of concept of anything. But they really did scream 3D printed. I was looking for this screw bin. It's right here. I trust MJF printed nylon, definitely not. Also, aren't they like $100? That's somebody trying to recoup time spent. Not a fan. Not a fan. I get it. I understand the motivation. Doesn't mean I have to like it. Time spent is time spent. That is investment that you cannot recoup. Even if we're talking about time that the printer is operating, the guy doing U.S. Revolt said a full set of Slonskys is on the printer for 20 hours, and they sell those for like $60. So I printed one for my capper once. It lasted a lot longer than I expected it to. I mean, there's a certain point with the 3D printed stuff where they're getting into the price range of just having the things molded. I mean, an injection molded part is... I don't know. Maybe we will. Maybe we will. But I don't think we are yet living in a time frame where a 3D printed part is going to be indistinguishable from an injection molded part. Much less a machined part, right? They're selling a pair of tubes for $100 and then put all the pieces into it. MJF printing must be outsourced to someone with a special machine that drives up the cost. Oh, yeah. 3D printers do indeed make great radio holders. I have printed the same guy. Oh, I moved him. I printed out I used an entire spool of PETG. I printed a whole spool of PETG because, oh man, I'm never prepared. I'm never going to be prepared. I've never been prepared. Here's my 3 that I haven't used. The guy that does US Revolt, I said I need something to hang radios from. They print 4 at a time. And I printed an entire roll of gray and ran them out. So he did it so that they take a number 6 screw and you put them like that and then you go like this. Or if you feel spicy, you can go the other way like that. But I prefer like this. And including in places where I have them just sitting on a shelf, I printed a whole bunch of these, affixed them to the shelf, and then I slide the radios in like that. Because I always had this feeling that I was going to knock the radios over and they were going to do a domino thing, and 9 radios were going to fall on the ground. So now my radios can't fall off. So how great is that? And I printed an entire spool. I printed 1 kilo of filament. I came out here when I was printing a set and it was all, I've run out of filament. And I was like, what? Creality, whatever they call it. I printed a whole spool of it. So see, I'm not an enemy of all things 3D printed. I just like for that is worth that Stuff like that is where 3D printing really sings for me. Stuff like, where is it? Where'd I put it? Where'd they go? The guy 3D printed me these knobs that go on RC4s. Great. MKRC with the 3D printed Canyon coolers. Fantastic. But 3D printed axle housings, it's not something that I'm actively seeking out. I've only just started to come, it's only because of Zoku that I've started to embrace 3D printed skids. Is the Diamond Pro an AR44 with axle? Yes. The Diamond Pro uses all AR44 parts in it. The best 3D printed thing I have is that tool Mr. C made for me. I used, it's in a bottle over here somewhere. I used a black wash and artist's wash to make it so that the numbers are easier to read. I found them a little hard to read when it was just on the gray. So actually, I didn't print a full spool of it because I printed this and Mr. Hurley's link duplicator out of this color gray. I like this neutral gray. And I ran out of it, and now I got to print stuff in black. So I also need to make a note to myself that when I get paid in 6 days, I need to order more PETG from the Amazon. Note to self: for anyone's printers who can handle CF nylon, seriously, it's worth giving a go. The 3D printed Hobbywing 1080 holder is really handy. Oh, the one where the button goes on it. They're like a little, it's like a square with a little square next to it. Yeah, I have a couple of those. I need a few of those radio holders. I can print them real easy. It takes 6 hours to print 4 of them, but they printed flawlessly every time. And I printed 20. I think I printed 5 batches of 4 and used all but 3. Well, as a matter of fact, I can probably send you a couple because I was printing them in batches of 4. I don't really explicitly have anything to do with these 3. I was going to mount them up where the Tsunami and Sandy and Chungus live, but I didn't like the way the radios hung in front of the light, so I didn't use them. I had a guy I trail with make me a 3D printed servo and axle mount for my Red Cat Ascent, and it broke the first time I took it out on the trail. Reminds me that link end tool was in with the paint is for Traxxas ends. Oh! I had to decipher that. Now when you say Traxxas ends, you mean the old ones. You mean the OG, not TRX4. Trying to find one. Digging. That's a little small, actually. If it's for TRX4, that'd be the best thing ever. No. Darn. I need another one of these. I need another one of these that fits TRX4 rod ends. Because TRX4 rod ends are so big, they basically won't fit the way they're supposed to. I've been tempted to buy another one of these knuckle removers and grind it out so that it'll fit TRX4 rod ends. Because I don't really have, I mean, you can go this way. You can put them in this way. But then they do this, and then they really try to remove your knuckles. Hey, RC Zilla. Well, RC Zilla just bought himself some radio hangers. How many do you need? Just let me know how many you need. They're either going to be black or gray. I can't tell you which, because I like to order the little 2-pack that's one black and one gray. And there's black in there now, so if I print it right now, it'll be black. I mean, they're radio holders. I don't think anybody cares. Can we get the file for the radio? Matthew, hit up Matthew on the Discord. Matthew with numbers behind it. It's like 9188, something like that. He's the guy who designed them and sent me the file. I can also, I do have the file. Oh, no, I have a G code for an X-Max. Yeah, you got to go to Matthew. If you have a Keedy X-Max 3, I can just forward you the file via the Discord. But otherwise, you'll have to go to him to get the STL. Because I don't ask for STLs. I only ask for G-codes. Haven't seen old Sandy in a while? Yeah, I haven't had... Sandy should be fully covered in dust at this point. On a side note, I picked up a wizard thanks to your recommendations. Looking forward to more deep dive videos on it. Oh, you're going to love your wizard. You're going to love it. It's great. It's so good. The machining alone. I hate that rod end tool. It makes me bleed. Yeah, I call it the knuckle remover. Yeah. Ye old techno goat. Waffen and house at you from Kirchsperren Forest, Ayrshire, Scotland. Great trails, wet, muddy. Fun of heck. Now I really need an FJ. You need an FJ? Oh my God. Who else knows the candy lady? She makes candy and she's on Instagram and she speaks some other variant of English. It's like English, but it's not English. And when she talks, I can't understand what she's saying. I gotta look it up. 2 would be fantastic in my eventual shipment. You got it. You got it. It might be 3. Instagram. Is it Shetland? It's Island Larder. Yeah, Shetland. No, I don't think that's it. No, they'd have way more followers. By the way, my wife has no understanding of the lizard meme, which I genuinely believe to be one of the best memes that there is. There she is. Okay. How do I know if you can hear this? Like, I never know. Oh, is that the one with the marshmallow? Wait. Okay, my sound is on. I'm gonna go to share. Gotta make sure I'm not falling too far. Fall back. Tournament between FJ40 and FJ55. 40. So you're the dig over the underdrive, I see. Yeah. Well, he's got underdrive now because I put Diamond Pros on him and then switched him from Element Gears to Air 44 so he could have underdrive back. Oh, well, you can't hear anything yet because I haven't gone to it yet. If I go to split, and then I go here, and I go like this.
Here at Island Ladder Teachings and the day we're working we were marshmallow. This seems Jaffa. Some folk have no idea what this is when they watch it on the videos. I think they think it's unedible, but it's anything but. It's the best marshmallow you'll ever find. Hi, Ivy, body up here at Island Ladder Teachings and the day we're working we were marshmallow.
Right?
This seems Jaffa. Some folk have no idea what this is when they watch it on the videos. The last Shetland Gooddock that I did, you all loved it. So I'm come with Nidreen. Are you ready? Here we go. What's nothing for one, plenty for two, and far our muckle for three. Good luck. The last Shetland Gooddock that I did, you all loved it. So I'm come with Nidreen.
Okay, I love it. She's one of my favorite things. But, like, I don't understand it. She does, it's like Lady Boomhauer. Oh, see, the Scottish guy's like, he got all of it. So it's Shetland, right? Whatever that is. Americans don't know. I thought there was an ad that popped up. Yeah, see, Chuck Hurley, no idea. She's from Shetland. She makes candy. I want to try it. I'm not gonna lie. That's the place with the tiny horses. I would assume, as a filthy American, I would assume They've got big horses there. I wouldn't even know that Shetland was a place, to be honest. I thought it was just like the name of a thing. Shetland and Orkney have their own particular dialects, and every area has their own style of English. Confusing as hell, but fun adventures, yeah. Is that the Trucks of Fortune origin chassis? We only deal in Trucks of Fortune here. The Friday live streams from Crawler Canyon are exclusively Trucks of Fortune. It's all we do. It's all TOF. This is going to be a trick and a treat to line up. As long as it fits back in the box, and as I mentioned, the one box says October 29th, and it being August, I have to believe that means October 29th, 2024. I don't remember if he bought tires. And if he did, they probably got consumed. So I'm hoping that he didn't. Shetland ponies are the ones they have at petting zoos for little kids to ride. Yeah, we know. I mean, that's where the dirty Americans would know Shetland from. But we would just assume that it's like a type of something. Like I wouldn't automatically assume that Shetland was a place that ponies or inscrutable candy ladies come from. Slap some pen seekers on there and ship it. Ordered a Boom Racing BRX-02. It will not build until CC does a build video. I get the feeling, this is a suspicion I have based on my knowledge of myself. I get this feeling that the BRX-02 is waiting for the weather to cool off a little bit. I just feel like it's too hot to work on that thing. It's also a model that moves, so it's going to take so long to build it. Any idea why Proline would discontinue their chisel tire given its performance so well in your tests? So I was in contact with a gentleman from Proline a couple months ago, and I did a little bit of testing for Proline because they're considering releasing some stuff, right? Let's say that. I didn't sign an NDA or anything, but he was like, don't go throwing it around. So I was like, cool. And when I emailed him back with my results, with my testing results, I said at the end of my email, I said, I would be remiss if I didn't ask you to bring back tires like the Chisel and the Hammer because they're tremendous, and I don't know why they stopped making them. And in his response email to me said, I will forward that request on to the product's development team, and I have to tell you, both of those tires predate anyone who works here predates their time with the company. So anyone who worked at Proline in the time when those tires were made doesn't work for Proline anymore. He had to Google what the Chisel was to find out what it was. So that would give you some explanation as to why Proline no longer makes the Hammer or the Chisel. So you're telling me if I send stuff to the Canyon, label it with a date like 2 months in the future so I can jump in front of the queue? No, it won't help. It won't help. Things are built here primarily upon whims. We have a desire to build something, and then that thing gets built. And sometimes it sits for a while, and sometimes it doesn't. There are things that have been here much longer. much to my chagrin. But like I said, I have no plans on finishing this. I'm keeping my hands busy while I answer chat questions. That's the best way. That's the best way to spend a Friday, as far as I'm concerned. Trucks of Friday now with more Link Olympics. Oh my God, this is a full body too. So the hope is that it's going to line up at least a little bit, and it probably isn't. If you haven't used the rip saws I gave you in December last year, go for it. Rip saws. 1.9 or 2.2? The 1.9s got consumed immediately. The 2.2s are still in the drawer because I don't have anything big enough to fit them. This is a Zoku for base camp, but we're kind of just going our own way. Do you remember what the difference were between the Sedonas and the White Rovers? Sedonas are big. Ten Pro shocks are okay so long as you flip them. Yeah, they leak less than other axial shocks, but they still leak. Sheilas are doing great because I filled Sheilas with 3000 CST, aka 240 weight. I think it's 240 weight. I'm going to fill Bruce's with 7,000 CST. Because he's blown almost all the oil out of his. Have you used the rip saws I sent in? No, I still need to bake those off, and it's been too hot. What happened with the blue-plated buggy? I'll tell you exactly what happened. So I got to right here, determined that I want to run a Fusion because it'll clear. I need to bump the front axle out 10 millimeters longer. It will still be ridiculously skid forward, and it will also lean the shock back a little. So I need to bump the front axle out 10 to 12 millimeters forward so that this servo will clear the Fusion. Well, look at that Fusion in there. It's like a jet engine in there. So I decided I wanted to run a Fusion, and the reason that we're not working on this right now is, let me show you down the barrel down there. See that right there? That is the motor mount for a Stealth XF. I lost that piece of plastic. Lost it. Didn't misplace it. Lost it. There's every chance that I threw it away. Like it got bundled up with stuff and it got thrown away. So I had to order the full bag of XF plastics to get the top motor mount piece because otherwise I can't make this thing go. Much to my chagrin. So it's been sitting here at the end of the bench ever since. That one is on me. I looked everywhere for it. Now, what I didn't do is look through every single bin that I've had out. I figure what happened is I scooped up a bunch of parts. I threw it in a bin. It's in one of the bins under this bench. Under this bench, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 8, 9, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9, 10. Under this bench are 54 bins. And they're all full of stuff. Some of them can be eliminated immediately. Like, I know it's not in the bins with the batteries. But if it's in with TRX4 parts, axial parts, Vanquish, bumper mounts, FMS parts, element parts, assorted LCG parts, suspension links bin, it could be in any of about half of the bins. And I did not have the mental strength to go through the half of the bins. Instead, I went directly to Associate and just ordered the plastics. Are the 2.2 ripsaws as good as the 1.9 ripsaws? I seriously doubt it. I have not done a quick view on the 2.2 Ripsaw yet. I still have to debond 2 of them from their wheels. They were particularly arduous to remove. I have to remove 2 of them from wheels and test them, but they feel like they've made a very typical tire manufacturer mistake, which is they feel at least twice as thick as 1.9 Ripsaws. Like, they are robust in their thickness. So I doubt that they are remotely as good as the 1.9 Ripsaw, but I can't tell you for 100% sure because we got to do it first. And running those gears without a shield would be a totally detrimental to that transmission. Well, it also, it's the only thing that holds the motor mount in, so it would self-disassemble rather rapidly. Got any hard body 410 builds? Oh, VS 410. Got it. No, I do not. I do have one more VS 410 chassis here, but my plan I have a Killer Body LC70, and my plan for that is the JP Wirt Class 1 chassis with the LC70 on it, and I haven't figured out axle yet. That one is a way off because I have made the commitment with myself that the BRX02 gets built before the LC70 gets built. So I know that's not the order that they arrived in, but that's the order that I have decided to assault them in. So that one's a while off. How many LiPo batteries do you have? Would you believe if I said I have no idea? I have an amount, and some of them have been used so many times. That is a Z2200. I have no idea. I genuinely don't. Like, if I open the bag of 3S sub 1500, there's not too many, and there's about a dozen in there. And then in the next bag, this is small 4S. There's about a dozen in there. And I like to keep them in a LiPo bag in a regular, and every once in a while you just poke your head in there and give them a little sniff and see if they're getting that sort of acidy, weird, semi-VOCE smell coming out, which means one or more of them is degassing. And then okay, so that 1500. So this is 1500s and up. Oh, there's the Adventure 3600. Haven't seen that in a while. There's probably about a dozen in here. Then I've got another case with the big packs in it, which are like 6,000, 5,000, 6,000s, the big stuff like that. All of my LIHVs don't leave their rigs. They live inside Bruce and Sheila and Nigel permanently. They're always unplugged, but they are in the MKRC sourced crates inside the vehicle, so they stay there all the time. And then we have, we have stuff like this. So these are all 2200s. I got a couple packs of the 3800s for transmitters. I have no idea. More than 50, less than 100 is probably where I would say that I'm at. So I saw somebody pose the question, how often do I find a battery in a rig? Oh no, it's worse. It's worse. There is a video coming up relatively shortly where frequent viewers of the channel will recognize this bag. So, I took this bag out because for the video in question, I needed to take some tools, and this is the bag I carry tools out in. And I reached down in the bottom of the bag, and I was like, why is that? Yeah, there it is. How often do I find batteries in rigs? All the time. I did a combing early on a Friday morning about a year ago and found 7 batteries in rigs. None plugged in. I unplug them as soon as I walk in the building. But I found 7 batteries in rigs. That bag had a 1300 in it that I hadn't seen. That's another Z. Had a 1300 in it that I hadn't seen in 6, 7, 8 months. Still at 93% charge. But yeah, batteries here live short, harsh lives because, like, the condition of these batteries are actually different sizes at this point. These batteries are probably just over a year old. They've probably been cycled 50, 60, 70 times each. Because when I come in from a baseline test, there's the little mat right over here behind me, that little silicone mat. When I take his battery out, I just toss it over on that silicone mat. Then when I need to charge a battery to go do another test, I grab the tire off the battery off the silicone mat, I plug it into the charger, which is right above it, and that battery gets cycled again. So some of these batteries are almost certainly past 100 cycles, but as long as that battery is giving me enough pixie storage to get me through a tire test, I don't even care. I don't even care. Every once in a while, they'll puff, they'll crack. We'll get some weirdness coming out of it. They'll start to develop that smell, which you can usually get. You get your sniffer, you get right in. Doesn't smell like anything. He's fine. This one, he's got a little bit of the there's a little bit of a something there. And the Ovonic, no, he's fine. He's fine. He smells great. So, yeah, how many batteries do I have? Don't know. How many have I killed? At least one a month. I've had spans where one a week is going. Oh, finding you haven't unplugged a battery is rough. Because you know you're going to plug that thing into the LiPo checker and it's not even going to power up the screen. And then you're like, oh no. So I used to burp them back to life. Now I just toss them. They're not that expensive. And one of my night traumas is the building burning down. So I'm going to give the building as little reason to burn down as possible. That's why we keep it 50 to 60% humidity in here. We're not going to let the place burn down. Why 2200 over an 850? An 850 is not going to get me through a video. Most rigs can't make it the length of a full video on an 850. Some can, most can't, particularly tire test performances. I used to run Wolverine on an 850 until I found that I can get 1300s. They're almost the exact same size. If I have the room to fit a 2200, I am going to fit a 2200 in everything. It's going to always be 2200s because there's really no reason not to. You're talking about an increase of weight between an 850 and a 2200 is less than 2 ounces of additional weight. And your run time is going to be Argenum the Phoenix with full lights on can get at least an hour and 45 minutes out of a 2200. That is plenty. And I would rather not fill my pockets with 850s. My friend had one exclude, which is I'm assuming is explode while he was burping it back. Yeah, I can imagine. I know every time I do it that I'm like, this is not a good idea. You should not be doing this. And then also, they go on sale fairly reasonably. $20 for 2 batteries. You know, like what is that risk worth the reward? To save $10 worth of battery, we're going to potentially burn down the building. I too only have 2200s. Yeah, the 2200 is the best. What, like, I have that drawer full of 1500s. I should probably. It burned his face, his neck, and his shoulders. Oh, you mean it exploded? Okay. Like, I've had them die energetically before, but I've never had one explode. Yeah, Jason, that's enough for me. I think my career of burping batteries is done. Yeah, you can take the old ones to the recycle box at Lowe's. People do the salt water. I do it as well. You get a 5-gallon bucket. I know you're supposed to make it like super, super, super salty. I don't. I used to also be excessively cheap, and I would either desolder or cut off the XT60s. Guess what? Those are also cheap. I don't care. I have a 5-gallon bucket, Lowe's 5-gallon bucket. It's got about that much water in the bottom of it. Poured a bunch of salt in it. You take this outside and you drop it in the bucket. I don't know how long it's supposed to take. Apparently there's some sort of a science behind it. But if you leave it in the salt water for a couple days, and I usually remember after about a week, they're supposedly rendered inert. And then I just throw them away. They just get thrown away because because according to the internet, they've been rendered inert. We used to take them out and shoot them with a BB gun, and they would make a fantastic smoke show where they would billow a little white smoke into the air. Now, if you shoot one with a pellet gun, nothing happens. The pellet just goes into it, and the battery pack just sits there. It doesn't even get hot. So I guess they're making things more safe and less fun. So, bucket of salt water, and then throw them away. I need a saltwater bath, a bunch of them. Yeah, I had one that just cracked, and it's just sitting out on the yeah, if you have concrete, if you have some concrete outside, just set it on the ground, on the concrete outside. Like, if I have a battery that acts weird at all, it goes outside, and it sits on the concrete. What if there's a pierce in the case? It can't get, apparently, it's something about the salt water. If it was just water, I guess that it would ignite and then do the boily burn underwater, which will still be contained. So even if the cells were breached, and you'd have to have a hole that actually exposed the lithium. So I don't know how much of a risk there is. And I guess the salt stops it from going energetic. Like, we've all seen the Nile Red, where he peeled open that AA lithium battery and then balled up the lithium and threw it in a Pyrex full of water, and it exploded. So apparently the salt helps stop it. Oh yeah, plug an LED into it and just let it run down. My friend builds e-bike batteries. He had a customer's old battery go pop. Huge burn mark out the back of his workshop. Yeah. The magic of salt is what I'm operating from. We have got to find. So I'm pretty sure. Oh no. Problem, crisis averted and problem solved. I thought I was going to have to fit a panhard mount to this, but I don't. I don't have to do that at all. What I found works better is taking an 1157 bulb and plugging it into the light bulb, which slowly rains down enough to zero without puffing, since it's low amps, in a bucket of sand. I don't know. I haven't had any issue with just hucking it in a bucket. I guess bucket of sand would work as well, though. Ugh, these are disposable rod ends. Thanks for the great channel. I just picked up a VRD carbon to add to my fleet. Heck yeah. I have a friend that forgot his on the charger overnight. High voltage cutoff didn't stop the charging, and his house almost burned down. Yeah. I think a lot of us, myself included on occasion, we get a little bit cavalier with our treatment of just how much energy is in one of these. This is a 24.42 watt-hour battery, which, if the math is right, that's 22.42 watts for 1 hour, or 48 watts for half an hour, or 96 watts for 15 minutes, or 192 watts for 7 minutes, 384 for 3.5. Basically, what it gets it down to is when this ends itself energetically, it will explode, and you'll end up like Jason's friend with burns on his face, neck, and shoulders, because they're not to be trifled with. I'm getting to the point now where I'm starting to get that life is too short feeling, where where like this one is starting to get the cracks in the outer heat shrink. Maybe it's time to let that one go. You know, they don't need to run forever. They are inexpensive. In the grand scheme of things, they are very inexpensive. It kills me. I had an Adventure 4300 pack get wedge shaped. Like it's the butt end, the non-wire end started to get fat. And it kills me. Those packs are like $60. And then I was like, it's $60, you know? What do you have invested in this? Just throw the damn thing away. And then I did that. Lipos put a lot of spice into what's a pretty safe hobby. That's true. I charge store mine in the living room fireplace. It's designed to be on fire. That is 100% correct. Yeah. Mine are usually charging on top of the silicone mat. Silicone mat, get one of those soldering mats, it will at least give you peace of mind. Because I had a battery die on it while not being watched. That is on me. And I basically do not charge batteries anymore unless I am in the building with them. Because if not for that silicone mat, it would have burned the building down. And luckily, the battery that burned on me, the reason that I am talking to you today and didn't have to abandon the hobby, oh, I think I got rid of them all. I didn't trust them. You can't, if I'm charging anything big, I charge them inside these as well. We were going full belt and suspenders. They were these little Urgenics. Do I still have one? No. I do. I bought all these shortly after that burn. If I'm charging bigger packs, they go right in here. Oh yeah. I mean, age is not a determiner. Age is not a determiner of the health or viability of a battery in any way. I have. Is it back in a radio? It might be back in a radio. I have a Hobby People battery in here that I still use in transmitters. There it is. That company doesn't exist anymore. So, look at that. Zero puff. But it runs transmitters, so it's never had to work a hard day in its life. And it has a balance plug. I had one even older that didn't have a balance plug. So, my newfangled chargers refuse to charge it. So how did I get 48 pitch into Argentum? Okay. I am not using a slipper eliminator. I am just running the slipper. So you can see there is, I just used the pads from the Vanquish slipper and just slapped a Kimbrough gear on it. Pretty low rent. But why I like to do that is I don't use the slipper for slipper action. I use the slipper as a final means of protection that hopefully that will slip before something else slips for the last time. And it's worked. It's worked so far. It's been absolutely solid. These shocks have never been rebuilt. This is why we do big bores. I didn't know what battery to buy when I bought the FJ40, so I bought three 5300s. Yeah, the LIHVs, the Ovonic or Genzei, not Genzei, the Ovonic or Z LIHVs or the Genzei Adventure 36 and 4300 are perfect fits for the FG40. In my impression. And I can't tell the difference between the Z's nor the Ovonics. I just know that currently the Ovonics are cheaper. So always buy the cheaper one. Working on 52 to 72 volt e-bike batteries is nerve inducing. No thank you. New Traxxas and Spectrum batteries have no balancer plug. Yeah, that's great. Let's reinvent the wheel while we're at it. I do not support that. wouldn't be a day without a Link Olympics. So what I'm just going to do is take a bunch of these MSNs and just install them. Must have gotten the wrong Kimbrough spur gear. No spot for pads. Oh, yeah, you probably got the traditional kind that just has all the holes that look like they should have ball bearings in them. If you have a slipper eliminator, that will bolt directly to the slipper eliminator. It'll have the same bolt pattern as the Vanquish gear. Unless you don't have a slipper eliminator, in which case you want to get a, well, I mean, you can use a stock element gear with the slipper. But are you putting that on a Phoenix or a VRD? Because a VRD will have the eliminator. So you can just bolt that Kimbrough on. Ovonics, is that how it's spelled? Yeah, Ovonic 4200. I bought 2 expensive batteries once. ProTech 4800 LAHV shorties. One passed badly within a year and the other within a month. All my other batteries are much cheaper and zero issues. Yeah. Howdy, Mr. C in the chat. How are we doing? What are we building today? Trucks of Fortune. Fridays are always trucks of fortune. I'm just trying to be very careful and not this tool hungers for knuckles. Loves them. Phoenix kit? Okay. Yeah, so the spur you wanted, I might, you know what? I might still have one in the package. There is a difference between the MSNs and the Traxxas ends, by the way. I've started to break the MSNs. I've broken a handful of them now. So I'm gonna guess that you got a spur that looks like one of these guys, right? The little holes. That will bolt directly to a slipper eliminator. I'm not a huge, like, you already have a slipper, so I wouldn't recommend going to a slipper eliminator. But the spur gear you want is going to look more like this, with the hex in the middle of it. But then you're also going to need the pads to go in the hex. So it's up to you. Like, I would say retain the slipper. I like it having that last little bit of line of defense. But ultimately, if you don't have metal drive shafts in the middle, if you're still on the plastic drive shafts, you can get away with no slipper because it'll just twist those a little bit. And I mean, I get away with no slipper and metal everything with, you know, general success. I'm not saying that we haven't snapped stuff in the past that was almost certainly related to that, but I mean, we have. Green Warrior, yes, as somebody said, you said which C-rate is best for crawling. MKRC Builds is right. I did a video called Does C-rating Even Matter? If you're driving a drag car or doing speed runs, yes, C-rating matters. But this is a 35C battery. Typically, at full load, the heaviest amp draw you're going to experience from battery into the vehicle is being executed by the servo, and it might hit 10 amps. So 35 times the capacity, that means that battery is good for 70 amps. You're going to be using 15% of that battery's capacity. C rating doesn't change performance on a rock roller. It doesn't matter to us. Did the wife continue to play on the rocks after the camera was off? Yeah. Yeah, she drove for while I was cleaning up all the stuff, she just kept trying that line up the middle and going, it doesn't make sense. I don't understand it. Yeah, she kept flipping back down. ASC. Let's see. Get off me, Ant. Yep. 4884, 9653. That one will work. $7.58 on Amazon. And it's on Prime. If you want to buy it, here's a oh, that's right, I can't use hotkeys. Here's a link. Jen's Ace has started making IC-EC compatible plugs. Ugh. Just to see what you doing, Gates. I'll get her. I'll get her there. I'll get her through some gates. I'm back. That was so much fun. I feel like it wasn't. I feel like you're being sarcastic. By the way, while I don't like pink, Sheila drives really good. She wanted pink. The people of the chat wanted pink. It was a conspiracy. I didn't really have any say as to whether or not that thing was going to be pink. So how many rigs do we have in Visitor Garage Sale? I want to say, including the stuff that's not built, probably like 8. So it's not too bad. Wait, no, it's more than that. I forgot about the top rack. Under a dozen. Sheila's pink is a great contrast to Bruce's blue. It makes him look darker blue than he is. That is optical exhaustion pink. Okay, ants, where are you coming from? I killed ants all morning. Didn't even make a dent. My buddy has a GT3. I was thinking of giving him my GT5, but eats batteries. Would that be a phallic move to give him the GT5? I mean, the GT5 functionally is superior to a GT3. But you are correct about the battery consumption. You basically... It's a radio that most people don't want to live with because the only way to get decent life out of it is to take the batteries out after every use. Otherwise, the next time you go to use it, the batteries are just going to be dead. It was one of the batteries from a GT5 that went up in flames in here because that thing probably pulled that battery down to 0. And then I tried to buffoon charge it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. See that the Spaniard has decided to grace us with his presence. A little behind, but I had a buddy who ordered some 2200Zs, and his dog decided to open the package when he wasn't home. Came home to a smoky house and a hole burned in the couch cushion. I don't know if this is a cautionary tale about having a dog, but dogs really don't like things that are closed. What are your feelings on corn dogs? I love a corn dog, okay? When we go to Disneyland, we always get a corn dog for lunch. They're greasy, they make me feel bad, but they are delicious. My son, my eldest, was a corn dog king. We would get the Costco 28 box of corn dogs, and that guy he'd eat them 2 at a time. He was in the growth phase. That guy probably ate, jeez, thousands of corn dogs. And I think he burned himself out on corn dogs because I can't even remember the last time I bought any. Found the original color name for the yellow FG40. It's called Pollux Yellow. With 2 O's? Not like Pollux Yellow, P-O-L-L-U-X, like Castor and Pollux? Not a mythological yellow? What's the blue called? If you know, if you're a knower of knowing things. Thoughts on the VS410 Portable Builders Kit? I think that the value isn't really there. But it's one of the only ways to get a VFD twin now, isn't it? I would say if you have the ability and can still find one, buy a Phoenix portal kit while you still can. before they do away with it. Because the Portal Builders Kit gives you some upgrades which should have just been normal included parts from the beginning. It's shrinkflation in action. They're like, oh, we're going to give you a motor plate, and we're going to give you some machine gears, which used to be in the kit anyway, but we don't want you to think about that. We're going to give you these couple little pieces, but we're going to take away the body. The $179 body. We're going to take the $179 body out, and you're going to be thankful for it. So, even if you just want to build it and you don't want the body, you can sell that body for $150. Like that. So, I'm mad at Vanquish about what they've done with that. Corn dogs are great in the air fryer, that's true. I was going to see if I could park my TRX-6 in the Canyon garage. Maybe it would get used a little more. I kind of neglected. I mean, that happens here to the vehicles here as well. You know, somebody gets hot, and then that one gets driven a bunch, and then like somebody had said earlier, they hadn't seen Sandy in a while. Yeah. Well, we went in between tire tests, and baseline didn't move for 2 months. Sometimes that's just how it do be. I'm not even gonna equalize these. We're gonna wing it. I still haven't tried my VF down. I need a Fusion, and I'm out of money for a while. You got to get back on that L'Oreal tip. Start getting that makeup money. Or his new girlfriend that he hasn't told us about has taken all of his money. Which seems more likely. Yeah, Baseline will take any break he can get because the hits keep coming, man. He is living that Smash Mouth song. The hits start coming and they don't stop coming. I have 4 weeks of summer vacation left and I have to do so many things. At least I'm going to get money. Money! I just did a Phoenix Portal kit, first Vanquish product of my own. I'll fully admit I'm a Traxxas fan, but I'm super impressed with Phoenix. Yeah, they're very different things. They are very different things. Ain't no girlfriend around here. I wish there was. They're expensive, man. You think this hobby's expensive? Wait till you meet a Consuela of your own. I'd like to see Chungus versus Baseline. Might be able to do that. We might. I'm gonna start keeping track of how many ants I smush here. Oh, here's another one. Hey, buddy. They're trying to get cough drops. Medium Blue 857. Consuela is a grandma name. My Spanish friend, over a long enough time frame, every name is a grandma name. Conchita? How about Conchita? How does Conchita swing you? Or how about a mariposa? I don't know if that works over there. Listen. Did your new girlfriend allow you to watch the live stream? Ah! So good. That's excellent. What's her name then? If it's not Consuela, what's her name then? Did I imagine, or do you sell those Susan Rick stands? My grandma is called Conchita. That's awesome! Yes, I did indeed make Susan. And I made about 5 other Susans, and I sent them out to the, what are we calling, whatever the rarest metal. We're calling them the tantalum level supporters of the Canyon. So Miata Commuter and Shaker MT and BMFRC and a number of y'all got Susans. sent out. Yeah, I know what a mariposa is. Yeah. Princess Consuela banana hammock. Eee. Yeah, Jerry the Raccoon is right. Listen up, Spaniard. What are girls your age named? What are Gen Z Spanish girls named? Because we honestly don't know. We have no idea. Mr. Hurley, I used what last little bits and scraps of wood I had to build the, I think I sent 5 out or so. The next time I have enough material to fabricate another one, you will be on the list. But yeah, I do not make them nor sell them. I have made some, I have built some, and I have given them away, but I've never, like, they're not for consumption. They take too long to make. We actually just had to order a new box of foam blocks because I forgot that I had given away half a dozen foam blocks. And then my wife came out here and she said, "Oh, you have yoga blocks?" And took 2 of them and just walked out. So just stole 2 of my yoga blocks. So we'd run out of places to set rigs down. And then I did a whole restructuring out here. And now I have like 10 unused yoga blocks. The last 4 names people said are good. Laura, Marta, Maria, Sonia. That's boring. A 30,000-pound lazy Susan, thinking that's enough to hold the crawlers. I think you could put that down and get an RV. You could spin an RV around on it. In the world we live in, it might be Mike or Brian. Yeah, women do things like that. She was like, "Oh, yoga blocks." Just walked away. I didn't even check to see if these cleared. Thankfully they do. Now the fun part is, we're going to slap these on here, and I'm going to see about attaching to them an axle. Then we're going to find out what wheelbase this puts us at. These all fit together very tight. And I think I need one of those cough drops. But last I checked, the bag did have a lot of ants in it. So I might have to wrestle some ants for a cough drop. My throat's got a real itch in it all of a sudden. Hey, ants, give me a cough drop. And the reason the ants got to the cough drops is, you know, I mean, are they really cough drops? They're Ludens. They're candies, right? It got a little hole poke in it, and ants got in the bag. 2 total grams of sugars per drop. And I couldn't find out what they were after. They were after the 2 grams of sugar per Luden. This one doesn't have an ant on it, so good to know. Why is there so many cough drops in my bag of ants? Oh my god. They're so stupid. They're just following the guy in front of them. They do not know what they do. They got into that bag through that micro hole in the side of it. So I think, in my recollection of my own abstract thinking, I think why this one hadn't gotten started is because he wants it painted, and when I say he, I mean the blind guy. The guy who it's destined for doesn't know it's being built. But the blind guy wants me to paint it in a specific way. And basically, if there's any specificity of the way it's supposed to be painted, I'm going to put it off for a year. I want to build an all-rounder that I can crawl and trail. What wheelbase should I build it to? Need to contact MCare, see about FJ bits. Yes. You can put some mustard on it when you say Maria. Marta. My gifted membership is going to end soon. I will have to take the dust off the dodging shoes again or set up the stupid PayPal properly. Yeah, I know how that is. Ants are free protein. They taste bad, though. I bet you've got more than a few rigs that haven't been driven since Crawlympics. Yeah, that's true. Did you ever make it to Trader Joe's for the root beer float snacks? I did not. I should write it up. Not even kidding. I'm not even kidding. Trader Joe's. The Trader Joe's is like 500 yards from where we go to get the coffee drink. We're going to go to Trader Joe's. Hopefully that better not sweat off. We still get a little while. Hopefully that doesn't sweat off. But that's what it's come to, everybody. Do you think Zoku would ever offer a group buy or discount code for your paying subscribers? There already is one. At checkout, type Canyon 10, and you get 10% off any purchase made from Zoku RC. What the heck did you say? Maria. Maria. Why is he called blind? Surely he's not really blind. He has 20% visual acuity in one eye. Why would he have a paint preference? He likes the Nurgle. He's painted for his buddy, and he wants it to look like his buddy's real-world thing. So it's a deal. I was able to get a Phoenix body from the RC Chop Chop for $50. It looked almost new. Nice. Ants taste like black licorice. It depends on the ant. I do wash my hands quite a lot. But when I go to wash my hands, hopefully I'll see that, and then I'll say, why is Trader Joe's written on my hand? Once my wife hears Trader Joe's, we're good to go. Have I missed something important in the last 2 or 3 weeks, by the way? I still have a pretty long backlog of Canyon videos. I don't know. If they are odorous house ants, they should smell kind of like rotten coconut when you smash them. I don't know what they taste like, though. I'm going to smash one and I'm going to smell it. All I have to do is wander around and find some ants on the bench. Oh, sure. Now you're all hiding because I want to smell you. Let me smell you. Yeah, we're relatively ant-free for the moment. I've eaten chocolate-covered crickets. They aren't bad at all. I find that is that's usually the description of everything insect that someone would ingest. They'd be like, that wasn't horrible. That's not like, if somebody said, hey, can I have a recommendation in town? Oh, you should go down to Ed's. It's not awful. It's a ringing endorsement. Look at these. Look at these cheapo beepos. With the center pumpkin F10 cloney random screw pattern on the third member. Definitely AR-44 cloney, though. That's the same big hexes that Mias likes to use. I mean, they'll work. They're going to work. You did miss out on the green foam. Good old green foam. It's not that bad is high praise. I mean, it's not that bad. My wife turned her head when you said Trader Joe's. I love Trader Joe's. There's all sorts of weird stuff in there. It does have the worst parking lot maybe ever created. So much so that there are like jokes on it about the internet about how bad Trader Joe's parking lots are. And they are not wrong. Ugh, I do not. This is the type of hardware that is straight in a circular file. I just finished episodes 2 and 3 of the Sheila Build series. I'm somewhere around there. Oh, yeah. If offered to me again, I would eat chocolate-covered crickets again. Okay, now, Raccoon. Listen up, Raccoon. Now, pretend that I have a candy in each hand, okay? And in this hand, from Trader Joe's, I have like a chocolate-covered caramel. And in this hand, I have a chocolate-covered cricket. Are there any situations where you don't eat the... Or a peanut butter cup, if that's something you prefer. Like, when does chocolate-covered cricket become the better option? Like, what is the cricket bringing to the table that not just plain chocolate doesn't bring to the table? That's my question. The worst Trader Joe's parking lot is at the Riverside Plaza. I don't disagree. Because half the parking says, don't park here. This is movie theater parking. We'll tow you away if you park here. Yeah, black licorice is gross. It's an acquired taste. Never the cricket. The cricket brings protein. So does peanut butter. So does peanut butter. And I get this sneaking suspicion that the cricket is never going to be quite as good as peanut butter. I'd eat a cricket over black licorice. Wow. Now, I ate pulver powder, so regular black licorice seems pretty tame after you've had the stuff from the lunatics in Norway. Gonna see if I can still get the leaf kits for the FJ in the UK as it's being phased out. Yeah, I am genuinely thinking about picking up just one more. It doesn't matter if it's front and rear. I'm thinking about picking up one more leaf kit just to have spare leaves, because I'm definitely not building another FJ. We have 3. 3 is plenty. I don't have a build. I need to build another one. Yeah, see, MKRC loves black licorice. My wife likes black licorice too. And it's one of those things. If you like it, you like it. But I think it's awful. It is a flavor that makes me sad. I was wondering if you could recommend me a place that's barely worth going to. Denny's. Denny's. JDA, there's your answer. Denny's. A stand-up comic has a great bit about how no one has ever deliberately gone to Denny's. You just end up there because you're either drunk or everything else is closed, or it's the only place where you can remember where it is because you're drunk and everything else is closed. And that's true. Denny's is like real-world bachelor chow. Got extra leaves in case you get a mash again or whatever the FJ gets replaced by. Yeah. FMS is making some decisions. Someone on the Discord posted the thing where they're showing the new, put air quotes around that, the new FCX10 LC80 Pro, where they've basically turned it into a sport. So no more lockers, no more 2-speed, and they're touting it as if they're giving you more by giving you less. I'm like, oh, we've simplified it. Could have simplified it in the first place. So basically the new LC80 Pro is a hybrid of presumably the leftover bits they had from the failed LC80 non-Pro scrambled up with the Pro. We used to hang out every night at a Denny's in Arcadia. Was anything else open? See, I need to experience a Waffle House. The nearest Waffle House is like 1,800 miles away from where I'm standing right now. Sounds like Vanquish? 100%. Chuck Hurley with a big claim. I've literally been all the way around the world, been in 5 third world countries, and Richmond has the stupidest and worst drivers I've ever seen. Mr. Hurley, I invite you cordially to come to Southern California. I need to go right here. Population, Richmond, Virginia. The population of Richmond, Virginia is 233,605. Population, Los Angeles metro area. The population of the Los Angeles metropolitan statistical area is 12,927,614 people. So I would like you, if you would like to go along with me, Mr. Hurley, is to imagine Richmond, Virginia, 26 times, 52 times the size that it is now, and you will have an idea. You might have indeed terrible drivers, but we have a number of drivers so bad that every time you go to make a trip on the freeway, you feel as if your life is in peril at one moment or another. Waffle House is S tier, and I'll fight anyone who says it isn't. It took $160 worth of Mia's goodness to straighten out my FMS LC80. Waffle House is overrated like In-N-Out. Uh-oh, the scurvy and the raccoon are going to brawl. So FMS FJ40 over RC four-wheel drive FJ40, trail only, obviously. For me, I would say yes. Because the RC four-wheel drive FJ40 is like this big. And Bruce is like this big. And for me, that size on the trail is, it's more immersive. You can run big battery packs in it. You can run big old tires and big old inserts. He can carry a lot of stuff. 16 pounds, my boy weighs. Yeah, everyone should have an FMS FJ40. Richmond has one good driver. That's me. There's 200,000 bad drivers in Richmond. And it takes 2 to 3 hours to get to work, which is why I left LA. Yeah. Waffle House is king. I gotta try it. And I'm gonna admit, I'll be kind of saddened if a fight doesn't try to pop off while I'm in a Waffle House, because as a Southern Californian, it's all I've ever heard about Waffle Houses. How many times did I see that video where they threw that chair and that chick behind the counter caught it in one hand? I told you, Mr. Hurley. I told you, MKRC, if those things go on sale, if I see an FJ40 at $299, I will buy it and I will send it to Little Rock. That's a big screw. It's a big one. But these screws all go directly in the Chateau Garbage. 40. I'm back. Did I miss anything? No. A waffle is a pancake with dents in it. True. Well, there's a Waffle House in Vegas, but I'm sure the experience will be different. Yeah. Waffle House is in the South. My wife came from a town of 7,200, and she said California drivers were the worst. They definitely are. I live in East Tennessee. Waffle House definitely overrated food-wise. Clientele totally worth it, though. Yeah, sometimes the environment is part of what makes it. I would take LA drivers over Miami any day of the week. Oh, man. The competition for who has the worst drivers is never ending. And I will say this about Southern California. No matter where you live, I can almost guarantee, I can all but guarantee that we've got more Teslas, Cybertrucks, notably, and Priuses than anywhere else. And the people that drive those vehicles are the worst drivers on the road. And I was a cyclist for about 8 years, and I'll tell you, Nissan drivers live up to the stereotypes. They don't care. They've given up on life. They drive bad. But it's a different level when you get to Priuses and Teslas. Because, like, the car does so much of the driving that the person in there isn't even really interacting. They're just do ba-doo ba-doo, and they're on their phone. They're do and they're self-driving, and they're trying to kill everybody. So, like, in terms of, like, total amount of bad drivers, oh my God, we have so many. There's so many. Teslas are genuinely the worst. We saw so many Cybertrucks over the past 2 days. The further you get out into LA, the number of Cybertrucks just explodes. And I mean, if you want to talk about somebody that's actively operating against their own best interests, my wife and I had an 85 Nissan King Cab. That's not a Nissan. Chuck, when I'm talking about a Nissan, I'm talking about a 2004 Nissan Sentra or a 2007 Nissan Altima missing its back bumper. That's what Nissans are. Nissan didn't develop its, like, the reputation that it has now. It didn't develop that reputation until 15 years ago, maybe. I mean, there was a time not so long ago, let's be honest about it, that, oh, that needs to be a hole back, that owning a Nissan wasn't like, I think the Cybertrucks are banned in the UK. Oh, you're so lucky. Altimas are meme-level bad drivers. Yeah. No matter how many e-cars in LA, that smog will never, ever go away. Well, it does. Some days the wind, the onshore flow gets just right and it blows all the smog out here. Then we get all the smog. LA is a pit, and I try to go there as little as possible. Did I mention that I have another anime thing coming up the weekend of my birthday? Sigh. I thought we were past it, but... Oh, the AI creation, dead ass. The shut up, Don Trell. The AI Ultima stuff is, I'm not saying it's lizard good, but it's almost up there with the lizard. I can hear they call me lizard. That's my name. That's my name. I can hear it in my head. They call me lizard. I don't even care what the movie's about or if it's any good. It doesn't come out until like this time next year, I don't think. All I know is Pixar better embrace that advertising and that marketing, because we all love the lizard. That top link is 2 millimeters too short. It's fine though. It's absolutely fine. We will be able to grip it and rip it and ship it. I'm not upset about it. Now, where's the rear one? I drive a Hilux on UK roads. Other drivers also give you a wide berth. as they all know who's coming off worse. Yeah, indestructible. After 2008 in the GM Valley outs, they stopped selling to fleets. Nissan picked up the slack for a cheap sales boost. Yeah. You really have smog in California? Yeah. Yeah. LA gets a meteorological phenomenon called an inversion layer. Yes, they do. Turns the sky white. Everything else is gray. So you guys don't get any atmospheric condition that makes it so that the visibility is only like 2 miles? Think fog, but it's 100 degrees out. That's what smog is. Makes a great sunset, though. You sure go to LA a lot for trying to avoid LA. Yeah. Do I go by myself? Hell no. This circles right back around to happy wife, happy life. I'm not going to LA by myself. I'm not going to LA for any reason. There's nothing in LA that I can't get somewhere else. But yeah, I mean, well, okay, so we're going to Anime Chibi. We're going to Chibi again, which is the one in Ontario. And I'm like, hell yeah. I do not mind that one at all. That is a 25-minute drive. There's not enough stuff there to keep them occupied for more than about 5 hours. I'll eat some sort of weird thing from the food trucks outside. I have a great time. A ticket for an individual person, I want to say each ticket was like $35. So it was about $100 for 3 tickets. 100% on board. If I gotta go, I gotta go. And when you gotta go, you gotta go. So we will never see smog in Birmingham. Well, you also have rain, so that helps. But yeah, we have proper smog down here. I wish they would dig up the 91 freeway to stop people from moving to the IE. Agreed. Just drop one of those giant, like, runway denial, like a bunker buster, and take out the 91 freeway between the 241 all the way to the 15. So the whole section that connects all through Anaheim Canyon and up through Corona, just obliterate that whole section of the freeway so that nobody can come in from there. And then I don't have to go to Orange County anymore. I mean, I'll still be able to get there by going down the infernal 57, but locals will not know what any of this means, but all we need to tell you is basically this. There is no good way in nor out of Orange County, California. It's a nightmare to get to. It's a nightmare to leave. It's pretty much fine once you're there, but we realized when we were down there on the wife's shopping adventure, we hadn't paid attention to the time, and it was now too late to leave. Because if we left then, it would have been 2 hours and 25 minutes on the freeway to go 53 miles, I think is what it was. 2 hours and 25 minutes to go 53 miles. Or what you do is you kill time for 3-4 more hours, and then it'll cut your travel time down to about an hour. But it only cut our travel time down to an hour and a half because some sort of giant semi fell over or something on the 91 freeway, and there was a multi-car collision on the 57. So we left at like 7:25 and got home at almost 9 o'clock. Orange County. And factor this one away, if you will. I would rather go to Orange County than San Diego. Better drop the 60 too. Get rid of all of them. How about them Musk tunnels on LA? They ever gonna finish? I don't know what they're doing. We'll never see it. The Phoenix Portal Kit is only available on the Vanquish shop, it seems. Yeah, they kind of quietly made it unavailable. I mean, if you're in Europe or the UK, the Portal Kit is really your only option. It's not terrible. It's just not as good as it was even 1 year ago, because they've kind of nerfed it. They're giving you less and charging you more and acting like they're doing you a favor. So I don't like that part of the business practice of it, but what they didn't do, thankfully, is when they went to the VS410 Portal kit, they didn't still got a twin in it. They didn't take that away. They didn't take everything out of it. Yeah, you can you can pay your $5 and get on the 241 and save you 3 minutes. Yeah, that's exactly right. Last night leaving I fire up the maps. I fire up the navigation because it's going to know what traffic out of my eyesight looks like. So it's going to send me down, like the 57 right in front of you might be wide open, and then you get 5 miles down the road and it's not moving at all. So I fired up for that reason, and it won't stop trying to send me on the 241, which will literally, the reduction in time was 4 minutes and 45 seconds, and it was like $5. So like $1 a minute. Look, I'll eat the 5 minutes. I've never wanted to be anywhere that quickly before, where 5 minutes was worth $5. But when we were stuck in that quagmire of whatever that semi did on the 91, there were so many people in the fast track, which for those of you who don't know is a privately owned toll road on the freeway, and the minimum charge to get in the fast track at that time of day was $9.65. And there were so many cars in the fast track lane, it looked like traffic. $9.65 to go a distance of 11 miles, 12 miles. Unbelievable. I would never. I guess my time is not worth that much. It took Mr. Truitt 28 minutes to get to the canyon and an hour and 10 minutes to get home. Yeah, that was the morning, so. Yeah, that section of the 60, in between the 91 and the 215, or the 15, gross. Gross. Yeah, all the freeways down here are gross. What are we building? Trucks of Fortune. It's only this is all Trucks of Fortune all the time. Here in the canyon, we only do Trucks of Fortune now. I'm not ashamed to admit that in my head right now is just constantly playing They Call Me Lizard. They call me Lizard. That's my name. That's my name. They call me Lizard. It's so in there. Is that Ratchet in the back? Who's the guy? Hanging out. Just hanging out over there. I drove from New Hampshire to Connecticut, 177 miles, a little under 3 hours. Yeah. This is the beauty of it, because, you live long enough and then you just reminisce about the good old days. It was not that long ago we could get in the car and drive to the beach in like 50 minutes. And now, oh, balls. To quote the guy from A Christmas Story, balls. So, is that an 1800 or is that a 1200? 1800. We've arrived at a point. Trucks of Fortune fanboys from now until eternity. Trucks of Future, Trucks of Fortune forever. We've arrived at a point, which is, this is a chassis for a base camp. So I'm not even using the skid that came with it. I threw it in a bin. This is an Artful Dodgers skid. So nothing's going to fit right. I have a couple options here. I can change out the skid. That's not a problem. I wonder, though. I do wonder. Will the skid move it over enough? Because good old Fusion is right where the link needs to go. Now, this chassis wasn't designed to have a Stealth X in it, so it's not explicitly the chassis' fault. That skid moves it over the wrong way. So, I've got a little bit of space. Yeah. Most likely, the best way to go about it would be to build an adapter. Can't the link be on the outside, or else they would be really... Because this, you know, if we had a Capra-style axle, then maybe, you know, where the links aren't just mushed up against each other, but these really need to be right here. So what I can do is, well, first things first, we pull the screws. And we see if it's not just as simple as a matter of rebuilding the gearbox flipped so that it's motor plate back instead of motor plate forward. Because it is that simple. As we flip that around, that'll sit right about there, and then none of the links are going to hit it. Actually, which way did I build it? What way did I build it? Motor mount facing rear. Hey! You mean you can get something to build on Trucks of Fortune? I thought it was just H10 RTRs. Oh, no, Tony. This is a long-running Canyon joke where when we say what we're building and then people show up later and they ask, hey, what are you building? We just answer Trucks of Fortune every time. Because, you know, it's funny. It's winky and it's funny. This is a build for the blind guy's friend. His name is Wes. This is a build for Wes, and we are at Praise Him. Praise Jesus, praise Him. We're at about 315 millimeters on the wheelbase because the body, the bed, there's the carb. It's the Hilux. It's Proline Hilux. And you know it's 315. So it's gonna be right. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be right and it's gonna be good. And the way he wants it done is, I can't find the box. Seriously, you're losing your mind. So he wants it done like this. Just like this. Colors are not a problem. I have all those colors, basically. White with the 3 stripes. But I think he said he wants the 3 stripes a different color. Like he doesn't want the yellow, orange, red. He wants like blue, green, gray, something like that. Anyway, that I can't remember. We'll get to that when I have the body closer to ready to paint. And then these are apparently as close as he could find to the wheels on his buddy's truck. And I think he didn't order the tires yet because he wanted to order something specific. And, you know, I told him we were a ways out. So don't forget, it's starting to run a little. We're getting a little smudge. Wouldn't a Spanish cougar be just a jaguar? Jaguar? And so I don't think it was the official TRD colors, but I kind of can't remember. So my bad for putting the motor plate the wrong way. So all we actually need to do, that's hot. Thank you, Paris Hilton. Ooh. Smells of fire. Now all we need to do is flip the skid around the other way. Remount the motor, and I avoided all those problems. Happy Halloween, go Redskins, who watches baseball? So, are they changing their name back or not? Are they, is it kind of cat, a big one? Yeah. That Toyota livery came from the one and only Iron Man, Ivan Stewart. Iron Man, Ivan Stewart. Do you have a Cricut cutter for the vinyl? I do. I do. Oh, but I wouldn't do vinyl. I'd just paint it. Honestly, because of the idiotic way my brain works, I hadn't even thought about just cutting vinyl for it. I had thought about painting it. Vinyl would make a lot of sense, wouldn't it? Because then I wouldn't have to paint 4 colors. I would just paint it white and then stick vinyl on it. Oh, man. I would have to buy vinyl, though. That I do not have. I might have orange. I might have orange and I might have yellow. Oh, crap. I'm having a moment. Sure would have been nice if you did this right the first time. I gotta go test drive my creep build. I just shortened the 3-base to 317 so it looks right. Boo! Boo! Shortening the wheelbase. Gross. That's the man keeping you down. Says the guy who builds to a body more than he does anything else. I definitely don't seek out 313 though. It'd be 330 all day long if I could get away with it. Hey, for the root beer float snacks. It's getting increasingly smudgy. What did I miss? Who the hell are the Commanders? Have him buy the vinyl, and then he can pick the exact colors he wants. Oh! Hey. I like your thinking. The way I was going to do it was go on Amazon and get one of those variety, you know, where it just comes with like a little 6x12 of each color on Amazon. I'm going to try doing one. We'll do one, and we'll see if it makes it easier than trying to do both back and forth. Isn't it how funny how doing it the second time is exactly the same as doing it the first time? My set of Louise champs showed up today. Might go try them out. Nice. It is up to 78 inside, and it's only 88 outside. I create more heat than I know, I guess. What's so tight? It's so tight. It is upper links at the pumpkin. Honestly, that's a lot of link separation. It's a real lot. Terrible pinion sweep as well. Terrible. I find that many of these are, what color should I paint my Vanquish Origin body? I'm having trouble deciding. Yellow sounds pretty great. Yellow with a black stripe. Nice. What's the lifespan of vinyl on a toy car that drops on rocks? Oh, the vinyl guy, the blind guy wouldn't be in the background today because he usually gets here Wednesday night and is here on Thursday and then Friday. And Wednesday night, I was watching Some Like It Hot. And then Thursday, I was stuck in a mall all day. So he's not here. I am Napoleon solo today. And just hanging in. And I'm telling you, I would rather work in a field than sit in a car all day. Because I feel the car sitting more than anything else. Is that actually not going to fight me? Is this not going to confound me? I almost can't believe it. It's close. It's close. Spaniard is out. Like Sheila, but brighter. I don't think you can get brighter than Sheila. Consuela is on her way over. Yeah. It's not surprising. He's young. He's young and the night is young. The Spaniard has people, what is it? Things to see and people to do. Is that how that goes? That sounds right. Nobody pulling anything. He's not convincing us. I feel like he's not convincing us. What were we going to do for drive shafts? I bet he bought cut to lengths and then they got used on something else. He'll probably be here next week. I'll have to harass him when he's here next week. So that's gonna fit. Rear drive shaft angle is terrible. Front drive shaft angle is poor. But we're going to drop caster if we take it out, because I want ride height right about there. Yeah, we need to move whole. I think we can get it reasonably close. I love the live streams. Can't wait until summer is over. I'm not going to watch all of them until the thing ends. Bye, guys. He's off to make a Google search in his area. Oh, good times. Good times had by all. See ya, Consuela and Hugo. So I guess we've decided on Consuela. Consuela and Hugo heading out for late night tapas. Power company put a new feeder to the village. New poles across the fields. Used large tracked machines. Instant mud trail and dirt and rock crawling course about 1.5 miles long. I can't ban the raccoon today. Somebody get him for me this time. Hey, hey. HVG3, only you can ban me. I'm assuming he would have told us if Consuela was his mother's name, because then that would be weird. But we wouldn't have known, so. Jerry the Raccoon was timed out for 60 seconds. We've got 1 minute of raccoon silence. Here's the deal. I've got a lot of leeway right here because I don't even know how much this guy's going to drive this thing. So I don't know how spot on I have to be about the setup. So at least for now, I can just fudge the links on. I think Hugo is setting up a red cat ambush. Yeah, probably. It's fine. I haven't been on the website in a long time. Somebody doesn't update it. Not pointing any fingers. You know. Somebody's like, oh my god, I have like all this work to do, and then there's like other things, and then there's Consuela, and you know the whole thing just snowballs. You know, we just keep on keeping on. It's ruined already. Don't try to watch chat and get a nut started at the same time, because it's gonna end up in the round file. I'd miss an RC appointment for an Isabella. My nonsense is forever. So spaketh the raccoon. My nonsense is forever. He will not be silenced. I'm really winding down, I tell you what. That's much better. Much better. I did not have the energy in me to... I didn't have the energy to build those shocks today. I just didn't. I didn't even. I was gonna say I tried, but that's a lie. I didn't even try. It was not within me. Does anybody want any high chew? I've got a mango and a green apple. They're disgusting. Like eating a candle. I don't know how y'all do it. A lot of people have professed their unabiding love for haichu. I can't do it. Also, having effectively forgotten how the other half lives, I had to take my youngest down to take a test on Tuesday. That chair is very squeaky. I had to take my kid down to take a test on Tuesday, and to prevent myself from falling asleep just out of sheer boredom, there's a Starbucks right down the street. I go into the drive-thru and I say, can I have a, I only drink chocolate milkshakes. That's about it. So I say, can I have a grande Java chip frappuccino? And they were like, oh, we've taken Java chip off the menu. And I was like, cool, 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 cool. And give me a mocha, I guess. So I had a mocha frap. Let me tell you something if you don't already know it. Compared to my coffee drink of choice, the patio special, a mocha frappuccino is truly terrible. Like it's almost gross. And I drank it anyway, and it did keep me awake mostly. I stayed awake in the car ride home, which I was driving, so that's a good thing. And then yesterday, to avoid falling asleep on the drive home, because I felt basically about as well, I get real tired around 3 o'clock. I guess it's because I've been up for 10 hours at this point. So there was a Starbucks at the outlets at Orange, and I got another mocha frappuccino, and God, that one was terrible. Like, it made me yearn for the one that I'd had 2 days before. But in between my last patio special and then the one that I'll be drinking within an hour, I had 2 Starbucks frappuccinos, and they're awful. Like, don't go to Starbucks. And I'm not saying it like don't support an evil corporation. I'm not saying it in that way. I'm saying that, like, it's as bad as people say. Like, it's not good. If I want a milkshake with some caffeine in it, I can genuinely do better at home than I can at a Starbucks. It's been UK roasting over here. Everyone has melted. Yeah, if it gets like 80 degrees over there, all you guys melt into the ground. Yeah, matcha does indeed taste like grass clippings. Hey, Brian Clark's birthday. Happy birthday, man. From what they say, isn't August supposed to be... August, apparently, statistically, August is the month with the most births in it. So Mr. Clark is in there, dead center, right in the middle. I haven't had a Starbucks since 1999. You're not missing anything. Am I the only one that just drinks black coffee in 2025? Black coffee is horrible. It tastes like hate. It got so hot here, the concrete has cracked on parts of the car cars out in the back. Okay, you can give it to me in Celsius. I can do the math. How hot is it? Like, for reals. And no, I don't like any flavor of Haichu, but I don't like Starburst either. I don't like waxy candies. I like my coffee strong and bitter, strong enough to walk. That's because Charles Hurley did time in the military. Yeah, August babies are Christmas presents for Dad. A gift that they made for themselves. It's 97 degrees. I mean, that's hot. That's hot. I'll give you hot on that. That counts as hot. Eddie Design says 29 for most of the week. That's 84 degrees. It's hotter than... It's 7. Hold on. I tried to give it in this. It's 26 degrees Celsius inside this building with the AC on. I drink black coffee. Ugh. Mm-mm. Yeah, I've tried every manner of quick Celsius conversion, and the quickest Celsius conversion is just to type 29 Celsius into my phone and have it spit it out. I'm starting to learn some of them. Like 20 degrees Celsius is like room temperature. Yeah, 20 degrees Celsius is 68 degrees. Why has nobody ever just... And it's 68 even. Like, it's not even, like, point something, something, something. Why didn't people just tell me that 20 is 68? And I only learned this because they were going around to those British people in one of those videos, and they were like, how hot is too hot for you? And some of the people were like, oh, like 24 degrees Celsius is just too hot. And I'm sitting there staring at it going, well, wait a minute. 20 degrees is 68. So 24 would be like 20% hotter, would be like 79. How close did I guess? Yeah, 24, 75. And I was like, 75 is too hot? No, it's not. I doubt it's 75 in my bedroom at night when I'm going to sleep. 99 in Missouri, and I guarantee you 99 in Missouri is way worse than 99 here. Where did you buy your Rock One body, and did it come with the Vanquished body belt? I ordered from A-Main. And the Rock One doesn't come with any of the Vanquish pieces. You need the inner grill part and the VRD cage if you want to do the full shebang. You times by 2 and add 30. Yeah, I mean that'll get you close. 90 degrees in Virginia with 55% humidity. 55 is not too bad. It's a 78-63 inside this building right now. 78 degrees and 63% relative humidity. But that's because there's a swamp cooler pumping wet air into the building. Which is why if the swamp cooler is getting overwhelmed and it's like 90 degrees in here, it's 90 degrees with like 50 or 55% humidity. So it's actually worse. Feels better outside. I have a $5 off thing at A-Main and don't know what to use with it, so it's going to sit. Yeah, $5 off is no motivation to me for A-Main. Because if I'm going to A-Main, I'm spending at least $100, and $5 isn't even going to cover California tax. So they suckered me with the $20. They did the like, are you a platinum or whatever? Oh, then I'm curious. How much have I spent on A-Main this year? I feel like it's going to be less than I think. Oh, we definitely made platinum. We definitely made platinum so far. So we can slow down for the rest of the year. I'd gladly let someone else take over the crown duties, but I think it's mutually beneficial. Yeah. Use the $5 to buy Traxxas shock rebuild kits. That is a good idea. But while I know that they A-Main does that, there's the shipping that's like $2.99 for small stuff. I can't stop myself. I've been so programmed that if I go to A-Main, I spend $100. I've only spent $1,800 at A-Main this year. I bought a lot more from Amazon this year. I'm at like 2.5 times that on A-Main, which is honestly, it's lower than I thought that I've spent. And then I remembered, like none of the FJ stuff, none of it is A-Main. It's all either Amazon or who was it? Somebody in the live stream was it that suggested to me that said there's a place in Florida that does the FJ stuff. Hobby Zone. I spent like $200 at Hobby Zone. Yeah, this year, oh God, how much have I spent on J Concepts this year? Oh, I don't even, Trader Joe's. I don't even want to think about it. I genuinely don't want to think about how much I've spent at J Concepts Direct this year. 2 anvils, 2 sets of megalithics, a couple sets of class 1s, rock bumps. Oof. Ain't no shipping on that, nothing. Does AMain roll back platinum status at some point? If you don't spend $3,500 in a calendar year, you fall from platinum to gold. And then if you don't spend like $1,000 or whatever in that 12-month window, they drop you from gold to silver. But I've been platinum since I started the channel. I mean, if you're doing this, it's not difficult to hit platinum. I mean, $300 a month will hit you. $10 a day at AMain will hit you platinum. And I order from. I've spent $509 on AMain, $1,200 at Amazon, $650 at the Chop Shop, and about $300 eBay. Wow, you definitely keep better track than I do. I know I've spent an amount. But I mean, I bought a Wizard on AMain this year. I also bought a Zool when it was on sale. But I've spent, jeez, I just thought about this. I've spent like $2,000 this year at Best Buy. That's where this is coming from. And no regrets. There's a lot of stuff that I buy, and I say there are no regrets, but I have zero regrets about buying old R50V here. I know I've spent at least $1,000 at J Concepts. I don't want to say how much I've spent because it becomes real. Yes. I know it's not possible to see, but I would like to see the impact of your reviews on sales of things. Because I know the Tim Tins were almost impossible to get after your vid, and now they're gone. You know, Chop Shop doesn't seem like it's really used. Item prices. Oh, yeah. No, Chop Shop, you can find some good deals. I've seen some good deals on there, and then sometimes I feel like they don't know what they've got or what they're pricing. I just saw they had a chassis from an Atlas, and it just said like unknown crawler chassis on RC Chop Shop. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, that's an Atlas. Like, it was immediately recognizable. But I guess you can't recognize everything. I can't tell most of the LCG stuff apart. They all kind of look the same to me. I mean, except Zoku's, you know, I mean, they say Zoku on them. I have a budget I have to stick with. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. My budget, now imagine this. Imagine not knowing how much money. You're going to do the same amount of work. You're going to make the videos. You're going to do the live streams. You're going to do all the things. And you're going to have no idea how much money you're going to make in that month. None. Like, it can vary as much as 50%. Like, the swings. Like, you have no idea. So, projects are feast and famine. You know, you put in orders for stuff to do tests and reviews and stuff because they get views. And I constantly tempered with, do I even want to test this? Like, is this something that I'm going to potentially use? And most, you know, we sit and we wait for new tires to come out. And then new tires come out forever and ever and ever. And now finally, those Louise are becoming available, finally. Yeah. Saying no gifted was not a good idea. I didn't know. Okay. There's a thing called impressions. And that's how many people that the YouTube algorithm shows your video to. And when there were no gifted memberships, my impressions fell like 40%. So they were like, oh, no memberships? Well, then those people, if people aren't going to sign up for memberships, then what's the point of showing these videos to new people? So they didn't show my videos to new people. So my impressions fell to nothing, and then my view count, it's going to take 3 months to catch back up to where I was before. I had no idea. I would not have known to anticipate even. Oh, he messed me up with the Zoku on this one. No Zoku shortage in this one. AliExpress for the win. I spend less and gain more. AliExpress is now useless, near useless, in the United States. Tariff times, man. Here in the tariff times. I was talking to Erwin this morning about Rhinos and Escape 32s, and an Escape 32 costs more on AliExpress than buying it off of Amazon. There's nothing I can do about it. Yeah, find a box and open it slowly. The Algo Monster does love an unboxing. I did technically unbox today. All of that stuff was in this Drop the Beast. It was in the old GOM box. I can't throw away the GOM box. It's too sturdy. This is how we do this. All the other pieces are still in here. It's a reboxing, everybody. Yeah, Fusion Pro, like a Fusion Pro still over 100. I should have put my stack of Injora stickers in the box I sent you. I have, oh my God. Injora, not stingy with the stickers. I think this is too tall to go in the box. Yeah. Sadly, sad but true. And now we tune it back up. And odds are, that creepy face. And now I probably won't think about it again until next week. Oh my God. I had stuff to try to give away, and I completely forgot about it. Oh, well. We'll do it. We'll do it next time. What amp secure should I get for a 2050 9i mod on 3S? If the price, typically on Amazon, I've been ordering the 120s because the price differential tends to be like $3 or $4 between the 120 and the 70. Might as well get the 120. Whichever one is cheaper. Honestly, performance-wise, I haven't really noticed a difference between the 120s and the 70s. Irwin's was saying that he does, that he feels like in some situations the 70 is getting overwhelmed. I've never experienced that. But most recently, I've only been buying the 120s because they're like, it's like 54 for a 60, or I mean a 70 on Amazon, and like 58 for a 120. So it's like $4 more. 3-minute giveaway blowout. Go! Yeah, there's tires. There's a whole bunch of stuff. I don't know if I could motivate myself to ship it all out. I am low energy. I'm not exclusively sure why. I don't know. Getting home from Hollywood at after midnight, which is way past my bedtime, and when it comes to AM32s, the only AM32 that I'm really actively recommending right now are secure, because you don't need stuff. The singular drawback is that you would have to solder the little jumper if you want to pump up the BEC, but all I do is just pair them with direct powered servos, and then I never even bother to solder the jumper. Oh, yeah. Gives people 1 week to member up to qualify for giveaways. That's true. It's true. We'll be giving away a rig here probably, like, I don't know, September, October, November. It's going to be sometime because I'm sitting down again. Oh, yeah. I've got parts and we'll be throwing a build together. And during the repositioning where rigs got moved around that happened over the past couple of weeks, like, I didn't introduce any new slots. There's no places to park new things. So any new build is hopefully going to be one that leaves. So I got to do, like, I've got that FC Class 1 build that's over here in a box. That one will get started on soon. The BRX-02 will get started on soon. I'm waiting for summer to end, or summer to calm down. Do they come with the program? Mad Scientist Makers, the Secures all programmed via Wi-Fi, and the 70s do come with the little dongler. The 120s don't, but once you've bought one, you have one. Here's the problem. Here's a problem that you can end up with. This is the problem I have. So once you have one, you have it. I mean, I guess I could give some. Do we think I could give some away? If anybody needs a secure programmer, let me know. If anybody needs a Rhino programmer, let me know. I only have about 20 of them. The programmability via Wi-Fi it's a Rhino killer as far as I'm concerned. If I don't have to bring a PC out to do programming, awesome. That thing's so full of programmers I can't even push it all the way in. Indeed. Have a great weekend, everybody. We did fair. I kept my hands busy. We answered a question here or there. I completely forgot that I had stuff to give away. C'est la vie, as they say. We have time to, we can do it. We'll do it in the next one. We'll do it in the next one. I'll see you in the next one. There's a video up at 4. So in half an hour, if you're not one of the Europeans that's headed straight to bed, there's a video up in about 30 minutes. There's a video on Saturday, obvs. Double header on Sunday. Twofer on Sunday. We get into some more of the usual nonsense through the rest of the week. And indeed, take care, y'all. Where's Susan? Susan! I'm hoping I can stay awake long enough to get to the place, Trader Joe's, to get to the coffee place. Camera 3 for the low. We actually we used camera 3 for a few seconds. Camera 2, there you go, for like 1 second, and back to camera 1. Sneak peek of the most expensive wheels. Okay, all right. For the way out. So we'll come down from above. So I couldn't pass them up. And if you recognize the front, you know why they were expensive. Well, yeah. It's not too bad. It's not too bad. Sometimes we buy shiny things for the shiny things. Thanks so much for joining us, everybody. We'll see you next time here from the canyon. Those aren't too bad looking, I have to say. And they were on clearance, to be fair. Back to solid. most expensive because they're 6. No, like most expensive if there were only 4. Yeah, they're OT6. Yeah, they're Verahub. Can you see the inside? So you have 15 millimeters different of width. And then it looks like a brake rotor on the inside. They're really nice. All right. That video's Monday. For anybody curious. Thanks so much, everybody. I'm going to do the thing. I'm going to put him back in his perch. I'm going to put these boxes away. This will be just running. I didn't forget to stop the stream. I just never know when it's actually going to stop itself.